It's a story as old as time itself, the immovable object, and the unstoppable force. The Division I State Championship game gives us both today. The Davison Cardinals, defending state champions, anchored by a defense that won't give an inch. They clash with the Lakers of West Bloomfield, who know all too well how to take them on. The one who prevails will call themselves state champions. Kickoff on Fox Sports Detroit is next.
The Davison Cardinals have worn their Division I crown well. As defending champions, they've had the bullseye on their backs all year and responded with an undefeated season. West Bloomfield is here with a laser focus and a purpose to make school history behind one of the best players the state of Michigan has to offer. We have brought you here to Ford Field in downtown Detroit for a big boy battle in Division I. Davison seeks a second consecutive crown, while West Bloomfield eyes its first ever. We'll crown a Division I champ here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi, everybody. With my friend and former Lions tight end, Rob Rubick, I'm Matt Shepard. Rubes, we love the big boy battle. It's like a slugfest. It's like a heavyweight bout. What is it about Division I that gets you most excited?
It is like a heavyweight bout, and you have the one-punch knockout ability of West Bloomfield, led by Donovan Edwards, and you have the jabbing of Davison with that run game and that relentless defense. So the D1 is always the prime show here, Shep, because you see the best athletes in the state brought together here in this venue. It should be a great game, and it's a pick 'em right now. I really don't know.
We've been impressed with West Bloomfield all season long, and it's hard not to be. They've come in here with, as I mentioned, laser focus, but it really helps to have perhaps the best running back the state of Michigan has to offer in Donovan Edwards.
Perhaps. I say absolutely the best running back in the state of Michigan, and he has all the intangibles you look for in a running back. He has a great feel, finding the holes. He has wonderful lateral movement. He can jump stop, get sideways, and then he has the top end speed, which allows him to get those long touchdown runs without being caught. He's a back that's going to do great things at the University of Michigan, but it's going to be a battle here today for him, Shep, because he's going to have to go up against, you know what, a very tough Davison defense.
Edwards, like all great backs, gets better as the game goes on. He will face his stiffest test of the year. This Davison defense is a smothering defense.
It's a smothering defense. It's a relentless defense. They really rally to the football, and that allows them to get away with maybe a little bit less speed than a lot of their opponents may possess. But because they rally, because they team, because they swarm, it's a defense that just keeps coming at you. And they're going to come at you for 4 quarters. And they're led by Harrison Unger. Harry Unger is just a nightmare coming off the edge. We saw against Catholic Central where he really took it and left an indelible mark on Declan Vile during the course of the game because he brought pressure. Quarterback could never get comfortable in the pocket. And you see Harry come again. And this is just a defense that when you allow them and get into a pass rush situation, when you can dictate that they're going to have to pass. If West Bloomfield has to pass and they know it, Harry Unger along with Will Watkins, they're going to bring a lot of pressure.
So good against the run and the pass, and that's what makes it so challenging for anyone who plays Davison. On the other hand, their offense is led by a guy who has just a couple of starts under his belt at quarterback, Deion Brown.
What a great story.
It is.
I mean, Deion Brown really thrust into playing because Brennan Sullivan went to Northwestern, early enrolled. So now a quarterback who's never played since his sophomore year, never played at the varsity level, all of a sudden he has to lead this team. And the beautiful part for Jake Weingart's head coach is Deion's getting better each week. He's, first of all, let's just survive with him. Last week he became a little bit of a game manager. This week he's going to be making plays as well. And he's going to need to make plays if they're going to get the win against West Bloom.
Yeah, they're playing with great poise and confidence with Brown under center. It is a different look, but it's one that has worked so far. The big boys are ready to hunt. They are hunting a state championship and seeking glory. Whoever gets this one will have to earn it. Let's kick it off next on Fox Sports Detroit.
Send a message right now. This is where you make a name for yourself right now. Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, we fired up. Hey, we fired up.
We gather under hazy night. Rain or shadow cast and floodlights applaud for this padded battle.
And brothers suit up in armor and dance with the gridiron in unison under the spotlight, holding up their team, careful not to let them fall. Brotherhood is an equal effort, a give and take. If there's a single wrong beat, there's a chance of being consumed by flames
Or being devoured by an opponent's rabid will.
What you don't see is a season of long days, aching muscles drenched in sweat.
What you don't see is the bone-shattering stomps of triumph, followed by slow grind and hard fall before any confetti can shower.
What you get is glory mixed with unforgivable pain.
A feeling you chase for the rest of your life. Tied to one another by battle cry, this game is a rite of passage, a test of loyalty to self,
To team, in the heat of adversity,
this night can turn blisters into gold.
turf and the sanction, cleats from dirt razors,
It's a Hermes winged boots. And we all could fly. You could feel it by the thunder.
We feel it, and Davison and West Bloomfield are ready to bring that thunder to the Division I State Championship game. With former Lion tight end Rob Rubick, I'm Matt Shepard, and we welcome in the third member of our broadcast team. Good afternoon, Brooke Fletcher.
Hey, Shep, yeah, West Bloomfield has been fighting to get back to Ford Field, but there's been one team that stood in their way, and that is Belleville. After losing to them twice, they finally took them down in a double overtime battle in the semis last week. Now, Coach Bellamy said, listen, that was a big win for us. I let the guys have 24 hours to celebrate, but on Sunday it was time to lock in and get ready for the game this week. Now, I asked him what were some takeaways. He said, we finally finished. We didn't quit when things got tough. We overcame adversity, and that's the sort of mentality we want to come in, and that's what wins championships, guys.
Ron Bellamy has done a nice job since taking over at West Bloomfield, has had a consistent coaching staff, and that has helped. And Rob Rubick, Jake Weingart's in just his third year, already a title under his belt, and playing for another says an awful lot about his coaching ability. Dylan Tatum and Marcus Carter are back deep to receive the kick. It's a squibber fielded at the 28-yard line. Not much room until you get to the right side before he is tugged down. DJ Herring close to the 45-yard line. Alex Short is the starting quarterback for West Bloomfield. The senior stands 6'4", 220. He has had some adjustments and some growing pains at times, but last week against Belleville really settled in nicely in the second half. His offensive line averages 6'1", 286 pounds. And it's been good enough for West Bloomfield to average 40 points per game this year, most in school history. Malik Mathieu in the backfield, and the inside jet motion give. Able to get up with a couple of yards on the left side for Makai Elam. There's that offense we were talking about with West Bloomfield. Samaj Morgan leads his team in receptions. And of course, all eyes at number 6 in white, Donovan Edwards. Edwards out of the pistol will keep it himself and run for a first down into Davison territory.
Number 6, Donovan Edwards into Davison territory.
This is a wrinkle we thought we would see, and that's running Wildcat and bringing Donovan Edwards at the quarterback position now. You know, you don't want to wear him out either, Shep. You don't want him not to run 15, 20 times out of that Wildcat and wear him out, and Ron Bellamy's done a nice job of managing his reps throughout the course of this season.
Fortunately for West Bloomfield, only plays on the offensive side of the ball, but a good point. He will carry the load quite a bit. This time he gives to Dylan Tatum. Found an opening on the left side and close to another first down.
Number 5, Dylan Tatum.
Love this Davison defense. It gives up just 8.5 points per game, fewest since 2007. And up front, Rubes pointed out Harrison Unger, the number 9 defensive end in the 2021 class in the state of Michigan. Will Watkins is no slouch on the other side, I'll tell you that. Quickly to the line of scrimmage, and Tatum has himself a first down. Ball came loose. And the pendulum of momentum swings to Davison because of the defense.
Well, we talked in the open about how defense can win games and how if you can swarm, bring people to the ball against talented teams, and you can see the ball being ripped out. And I think that was Kobe Sellers, number 45, is the one who gets his hand on the ball. He rips it out. You see Clark Hamilton underneath it, and Davison recovers it. That's a good job by Davison. West Bloom starts out moving the ball pretty well on the ground, but it's thwarted after the turnover.
Big play early on made by the Davison defense. And there's Dion Brown into emergency quarterbacking duty because Brendan Sullivan, who is a first-team All-Stater, Dream Team quarterback in the state of Michigan, left for Northwestern early to get in there with Pat Fitzgerald and learn that offense. But Brown's done a nice job as that quarterback. Remember this, by taking him out of the wide receiver spot, you lose your best wide receiver, too. They started on the ground. Squeezing through the holes, Carter Kreiderman. They've got a couple of guys in that backfield, Rubes, who can really scare you. Kreiderman's one of them. Tavion Warren is the other, and it helps to have some big fellas up front. A lot of beef on that offensive line. Remember this, 9 guys on this offense are back from the state championship team of a year ago. Second down and 4 for Davison. Kreiderman again. First down carry. Flag on the play, could be a face mask.
Kreiderman tackled by 21, B.J. Rankin. There is a penalty marker.
It's a different face mask on the defense. 5 yards at the end of the run. First down.
Well, here's a look at the tail end of the play. Harrison grabs the face mask of Kreiderman, but this is a nice job. You're going to see him get outside. This is pin and pull. Watch when the left guard, Lucas Edgar, when he gets outside, he's going to seal the end, take him inside, and this allows Kreiderman to bounce to the edge.
What they love about Kreiderman is his ability to squeeze through holes and then square his shoulders quickly to get downfield. Second first down on the drive. Kreiderman, the workhorse, spins his way for a gain of a couple.
Carter Kreiderman to the 48.
Niles King in on the tackle. King up front with Caleb Kelly and Chris Johnson and Jaden Green. Jordan Hoskins wears 10 in white. He's headed to Missouri State. He leads this West Bloomfield defense in tackles. Folks, he is everywhere. He's an outstanding middle linebacker.
The other backer's not too bad either. Travis Reese, son of former Detroit Lion and Michigan State Spartan, Travis Reese.
Eyes up, Ewing! Eyes up!
Warren to the outside. Good stiff arm and lunging close to a first down. Maxwell Hairston knocked him out of bounds.
Towards the Davison sideline. Brought down by
Warren's one of those guys who can get to the edge. Kreiderman is better between the tackles. Fair to say for Davis?
Yeah, he's a good counter and power runner in this offense. He does a good job of following the Peyton Pizzala, the H-back number 34 right there. You can, you want to follow the ball in this offense, find it, follow 34. He'll take it to you most of the time.
Pizzala is one of those guys who's really elevated his leadership, become much more vocal once Brendan Sullivan left for Northwestern. Third down and short for Dion Brown and company. He's going to throw it. How to curl route. There's a first down connection.
Oh, boy, that's Harry Unger, man. He's hurt. That's huge. Getting up slow.
first down, Cardinals.
That is huge because he's such a big part, not just on defense, but as the tight end in the offense. It could just be the old wind because he went up high, Shep, and landed. I just hope he got the wind knocked out of him.
You get why he goes to his big target, 6'2", 235-pound senior. But he is so vital to the success of that defense, as you pointed out earlier.
And this is a well-thrown ball by Deion Brown. Harry Unger goes up. See, he's landed. The only other thing it could be, and I'm not a doctor, believe me, is a shoulder. As you can see him get down there, and you just hope he gets the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, he landed hard on that left shoulder. And you know what that's like because you were at the Pontiac Silverdome, and plenty of times that happened to you. Now this is much softer,
much better, yeah,
and yeah, more convenient turf than that. But there's a lot of people on the Davison sideline and in the stands for Davison who are holding their breath right now.
It's like watching a prize fight, saying, "Get up, come on, Harry," because, like I said, you know, they depend heavily on him. Shep as a tight end. Boy, he looks. Looks like he's hobbling just a hair.
And he's going to need some help. No pressure on that right leg.
Get another look at what happened, Shep, and maybe see how his leg. See, yeah, they're carrying him off. Here's a look at in super slow motion. Could it be the contact on the leg when B.J. Rankin hits him? I'm just not sure. We'll just wait. We won't speculate now, although we have a little bit. We'll just wait and we get some information. Maybe Brooke Fletcher can get some information for us. But nonetheless, you move on. It's next man up. And
well, Luke Milenich, another senior and another big body, 6'3", 205, is the backup to Unger on both sides of the ball. This is Kreiderman squeezing through a hole. Great run all the way inside the 25.
Last week, Belleville had a lot of success running the ball in the second half against West Bloomfield. In the first half, West Bloomfield was very stout up front, but right here, it's just, once again, this is power. You see him pulling two linemen to the hole, and Kreiderman does a good job letting the big fella just kind of root it out and takes it up for a nice game.
And a good read by Deion Brown, too. That's a quarterback read there, isn't it? Warren in motion, a collision, and the ball's loose. West Bloomfield has it. Turnover is fair play.
Loose ball recovered by the Lakers.
Well, both teams come out offensively, show some pretty good life, moving the ball down the field, and Davison returns the favor, as you said, Shep. They turn it over, miscommunication in the backfield rather. They kind of bang in. That's Kreiderman banging in. They're trying to get Kreiderman on the fake and then to get Tavian Warren on the little underneath action and get him the ball. A little bit of a break for West Bloomfield. You talk about really unforced errors. This is an unforced error. This isn't because of a big play by the Lakers. It's more on Davison themselves.
That's what sometimes will happen with a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience at the position.
Now this is a pass set look.
Jet motion and a flag on the play.
Whistle on the field. There's a penalty marker.
Legal procedure on the offense. 5 yards. Steal first down.
They came on an empty look, Shep. Empty set, and they're going to bring Harrison on the jet motion. But they had trips to the left, one receiver to the right was Harrison. They're trying to overload, so basically get the receivers out there as pre-blockers already, and then bring Harrison to the strength of the formation.
Still attending to Harry Unger on the Davison sideline. On a first and long, this is Edwards sprinting free. He's gone.
Well, we talked about hitting home runs, that he has that home run capability, Shep. We talked a little bit off the air. When you asked me who's going to win this game, I said, well, Donovan Edwards is going to hit a home run. If he hits 2 or 3 home runs, Davison's in trouble. And you can see right there, the ability he has to cut and then accelerate is second to none in this state. And you knew right then it's over. Not very often you know when a play's gone 10 yards that it's a touchdown, but that time you did.
Turnovers and chunk plays. They can kill you or rise your team up, depending on which end of that formula your team is on. How about this one? 78 yards for Donovan Edwards. You want to see what a Big Ten running back looks like? Here he comes, right into your living room.
Well, the Lakers take an early 7-0 lead because of the home run hitting power of Donovan Edwards. And we're going to look at what happens here. And this is just a really nice job. They're going to pull the guard here. They're going to bring motion through here. Edwards is going to read it right up the middle and watch him take it and go. When he sees it open up after the fake, fakes the jet, he sees the gap, and then he just accelerates. And a nice job blocking. You got big number 53, Ryan Ross, in there making the double team inside, getting motion, and that motion and that jet motion, Shep, it widens the outside linebacker. It created a big hole, and Davison's going to have to secure that down, or you could see that happen again.
You and I have seen a lot of good running backs in the times we've called 20-plus years calling state championship games. This guy is in the discussion among the more dynamic we've watched.
It's so funny you said that. A buddy of mine who was a coach for years said the best running back he'd ever seen in the state was Tyrone Wheatley.
Yeah.
Until he watched Donovan Edwards. He said, I would put him in the same breath with Tyrone Wheatley, and that's royalty.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Ty Wheatley, one of the best athletes the state's ever had. Big leg that sends Davison back into the end zone. And we've talked about Donovan Edwards and the impression we've gotten from him, and for good reason. We've seen him quite a bit on our high school games of the week, including last week, where he just ruled the roost against Belleville.
Yeah, he's a complete back. And I just love, I'm not sure which highlight it was, where right there, how he stair steps, how he'll press it, and then he'll bounce it outside. He does that in the backfield. He can come to the line, and just all of a sudden he goes east and west. And you always tell people, you get north and south. When you have his type of quickness and speed, you can go east and west.
So happy for all these young men and anybody moving on to keep playing the game of football that we love so much. But just to represent the state of Michigan and the high school athletes, how cool is this? LSU, Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, 2 Michigan commits actually in those 5 talented young men. Edwards, last 2 playoff games, 383 yards and 10 touchdowns before today. Davison tries to answer. A little grinded out move by Tavion Warren. Travis Reese in on the tackle.
Tavion Warren to the 23.
And you know how this game changed so quickly. Davison really taking control, moving the ball. They drove it probably 40 to 50 yards down the field, running the ball, and then the pass play to Harry Unger, but they were able to still right the ship and move the ball. And all of a sudden, the turnover, the unforced error, where they run into each other in the backfield, and then the quick hit ability of Donovan Edwards, and it's a 7-0 deficit. Now Davison's just got to kind of regroup.
2nd and long for Deion Brown. Warren again, nowhere to go. Swarmed under, led by Jaden Green. Let's welcome in Brooke Fletcher on the sidelines. Brooke?
Yeah, guys, Harry Unger came down hard on that catch just a few moments ago. His teammates carried him off to the sidelines. I talked to the trainer, and she said it's looking like it's that lower right leg, but it is too early to determine exactly what it is or if he will return to the game. I'll keep you guys updated as we find out more.
I bet you will. Thanks, Brooke. Appreciate that update very much. That is crucial for Davison. Cannot emphasize enough how important that young man is to this team as a physical and emotional leader on the defensive side of the ball. He and the Cardinals trail 7-0 in the Division I state championship game early on. Cardinals of Davison already without Max Unger right now, or Harry Unger rather, because of the injury. They're already playing this game shorthanded offensively too, Rob Rubick, because of Brendan Sullivan off to Northwestern.
Yeah, it's a tough tough deal for Davison. The deal with Jake Weingart's done a nice job implementing Deion Brown, but you look at West Bloomfield, they have the best running back in the state. Well, Brendan Sullivan was the best quarterback in the state, going to a Power 5 school. Yeah. He could do it all. He had tremendous top-end speed, good quickness, he could throw, and they hadn't even really tapped much of his ability during the course of this year because they didn't need to. They were rolling, and you're going to really see Jake Weingart's unleash what he could do as they got deeper in the tournament, but he decided to get that college career going, and, you know, props to him. But Deion Brown has really done admirably filling in.
Sullivan 21-2 as a two-year starter. And there's a reason, specific reason why he had to leave. We'll tell you that in a moment. Brown with his first throw, and they set it up to Warren. Warren on the screen. Made a nice move to get the first down. That was clutch right there.
Brown pass complete to Warren.
And when you have a young quarterback in Deion Brown, young as far as experience goes, the screen game can be very effective, but you have to be able to sell it. And Deion Brown does. You watch him. He's looking right, then he comes back and gets Tavion Warren the ball in space, and he does a good job. And a nice job by Lucas Egger not getting a block in the back, just lifting his arms up. And that's a big first down. 3rd and 9 is not the situation you're going to put this quarterback in right now.
They keep Warren in the backfield with Brown. He gets the call. Jitter bugs his way. That's a good run to pick up some yards when there wasn't a whole lot there. We had talked about Brendan Sullivan off to Northwestern. Jake Weingartz knew this was going to happen, right? The plan was to play Sullivan up until he had to leave. He had to be in at Northwestern by January 4th. That was the day Pat Fitzgerald expected him in Evanston. So anything other than that was a bonus. So it's not like it came as a surprise to Coach Weingartz and his staff. But they have been pleasantly surprised with the way Deion Brown's been able to throw the football. Warren bounces out of the pile and gets a first down close to the 50. Lakers defense couldn't find him, and he picked up 12.
And Hairston. First down.
Tavion Warren gets behind the big fellas here. You can see it's the off-tackle power. There's nothing there. Then he's able to bounce out to the edge and make something out of nothing. And Davison, once again, moving the football as he hides behind the offensive lineman and is able to turn it up.
He'll play for Wayne State next year. He's averaging 7 yards per touch so far here today. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals in Division I. Off the play fake to Kreiderman. Brown with a jab step and crawls his way to the 45-yard line of West Bloomfield. B.J. Rankin in on the tackle, but not before Brown picks up 6.
Yeah, this is a nice play. This is quarterback power, a little bit different. They're going to bring both offensive guard and tackle from the weak side. Let it go. They're going to pull, and you see the ball fake, and then he just follows up through, and that's a nice job. The big fella, that's Yusuf, getting helmet on a helmet, creating a seam, and good patience by Deion Brown.
Yusuf DeCooley, a 2-year starter for Davison. 2nd and about 5. We'll bring up now about 2nd and 2. You see how good Davison has been to get here. They started against Lapeer, and then the forfeit by Rochester Adams before knocking off Rockford last week, 27-3. That surprised you a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and it surprised Coach Weingartz when we had a chance to visit this week. He watched Rockford on film, and he thought offensively they were so skilled. And Ahern's the quarterback, but defensively they really played well against Rockford.
3rd and short on a toss sweep for Warren. Slicing his way shy of the first down. Dragged down by a couple of West Bloomfield defenders. That'll bring up an interesting 4th and 2 here.
I think you punt. I really do, or try to go to hard count, maybe take the 5-yard penalty. You have to play a game of field position. You just had a 3rd down and 2.5, and now you have a 4th down and 2. You lose your tight end, which really your starting tight end, which gives you the ability to flank and really run off tackle and run that double team with the tight end and tackle and run that power there. Jake Weingartz is going to think about this a little bit, take a timeout.
Listen, line of scrimmage in just about any game is going to be huge, but especially in this one. How confident does Jake Weingartz and his offense feel about moving that pile enough to keep the drive alive? We'll soon find out. The MHSAA Football Finals are brought to you by the Sparrow Health System. Want to start to Division I. West Bloomfield has the 7-0 lead. Jake Weingartz will be playing shorthanded the rest of this game. Already without his starting quarterback. We knew that coming in. We've known that the last few weeks because Brendan Sullivan, his starting quarterback, is now at Northwestern. And now one of his most, if not the most impactful player on this team, Harrison Unger, has taken his shoulder pads off. And the emotion, well, you can't control it, knowing it's your last game of your high school football career.
I think Harrison's probably looking at the play. You see him, they might be showing him the play that he got hurt on. Or they're showing him the view of the feet of the game, Shep. I'm not sure which one it is. Interesting there. Jake Weingartz takes a timeout, and then he decides he's going to punt it, which I'm fine with. But if you know that ahead of time, you can just take the 5-yard penalty. You don't need to take timeout. Take the 5-yard penalty for delay of game if you're not sure. And then Ron Bellamy, when he sees Jake Weingartz comes out to punt, Davison, he decides, I want a timeout. Maybe he's looking, maybe they set up a fake or something. If I was Davison, I would just go real hard count, try to get him to jump off. And West Bloomfield in turn should not even rush hardly. You know, you're at your own 40. You just play punt save, play defense here.
And no one back to return this punt. Usually it's Donovan Edwards back there. No one is back to receive it. And off the side of the foot of Gabe Hopkins.
Wow. Ends up being a 7-yard punt.
Works out for West Bloomfield. This entire tournament has worked out for West Bloomfield. Really impressive blowout win over a scrappy Romeo team. Really not challenged much prior to that. Utica Ford and Troy and Sterling Heights Stevenson. And then last week, as Brooke Fletcher told you earlier, the emotional win over Belleville to beat them in double overtime was thrilling for Lakers fans everywhere.
Alex Short isn't even in the game.
Nope. They have done this more and more. Early on in the season, in a loss to Clarkston, they didn't feel like they gave the ball enough to Donovan Edwards. Now it's in his hands on a more regular basis. And he's going to keep it here.
Now Davison's going to start keying pretty heavy on that, and Ron Bellamy, watch him. They'll start giving that jet just to keep that defense honest. But you have to take number 6 away first. That's got to be your priority.
It's 2nd and 7.
On the end around here. Elam. Nice cut up for a first down carry. Carter Harriman, outside linebacker, came up, made the tackle after a 9-yard gain. So what does Davison do, Rubes, about the loss of Harrison Unger? He leads his team in tackles and tackles for loss and sack. Well, how do you replace it?
Well, you don't. You have to try to just grin and bear it, and people have got to try to step their game up.
Edwards stepping through a hole and getting about 5 or so.
And you see what West Bloomfield, Ron Bellamy's, he's not stupid now. He knows that you lose one of your edge players, they're going to start seeing a little bit more jet trying to get to the edge, and you can run off tackle towards where Harry Unger was playing.
Makes sense. On a 2nd down and about 4, flag on the play. Edwards able to get through a hole, break a tackle, and then drag down at the 45-yard line by Peyton Pizzala.
Yeah, you had two West Bloomfield Lakers were in motion at the same time. Legal shift.
Illegal shift on the offense, number 44. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Repeat 2nd down.
Down to Brooke Fletcher.
Yeah, guys, just a few moments ago, you guys remember Harry Unger came down hard on that catch. I did just talk to his trainer, and she said that it is a right hamstring injury. It is not torn. However, he will not be returning this game. I saw Dion Brown and Tavion Warren coming over and comforting him. Obviously, a huge loss for this Davison team, guys.
Massive. Thanks, Brooke. 2nd down and about 9. Alex Short back in, stands tall across the middle, and it's deflected and incomplete.
And that's why penalties are huge. I mean, you look at West Bloomfield in this series, Shep, they were moving the ball. They have it 2nd down and 4. then all of a sudden you get the 5-yard penalty, and then you bring Alex Short back into the game. What you were doing with the Wildcat with Donovan Edwards, you throw out because Ron Bellamy wants to get his passer in the game, and good pressure in the pocket. And you see, I think, was that Will Watkins, number 30 or 45? That was Josh Sellers, I think, who got a hand on that one, or Kobe Sellers, rather. Got a hand on that. So 45 making some plays. He got the tip pass there. He also, stripped the fumble early on.
Kobe Sellers, Will Watkins, both those names you mentioned, impact defensive players with or without Unger. 3rd down and 9.
Penalty marker on the field.
Delay a game on the offense. Number 6. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
2 penalties on the drive. Marches West Bloomfield behind the chains.
And this is why this 5 yards is important if you're defense against West Bloomfield right now. That puts you at a 3rd and 14. Now you can play off coverage a little bit more and still close and get them for a 6 or 8 yard gain. If they only need 9, you have to play a little bit tighter, which means it might expose them to getting by you. So it gives a little bit more cushion for Davison in the secondary. They can backpedal quickly.
Malik Mathieu is the lone tailback behind Alex Short. Short will throw. Pressure comes. Weaves his way through it. Spins his way through it. And then down he goes at the 47-yard line.
Alex Short brought down by
Malenicz came in, made an impact play, and so did Carter Harriman.
Yeah, that's what Davison does defensively. They get at you with the pass rush. We didn't know how the loss of the Harry Unger would affect them, but they seem to be doing okay. Last couple of plays, they're able to get pressure on Alex Short, and now they're forcing a punt.
Dion Brown is back deep to receive the punt from Sammy Lafada. Good kick. And Brown with a fair catch at the 17-yard line or so.
Look at Dion Brown spending some time on the sidelines talking to Coach Weingartz. Let's see what they can do offensively here, Shep. They really, they really have done okay. I mean, they've had the ball twice. They've moved the ball both times. One time was a turnover. The other time they got stopped on downs and had to punt, but on the 42-yard line of West Bloomfield. So there's been some yards to be gained in the running game. And you know this team, Shep, you called it last week when they played Belleville, and they were able. Belleville didn't run the ball on West Bloomfield in the first half. No. But in the second half, there were some holes. So if Davison can just keep it, pounding it. They've had some success in the first half. It could really open up later in the game.
Yeah, both these defenses are very stout. Kreiderman and Warren are in the backfield with Dion Brown. This is Warren. Up immediately. Looks like Jalen Flowers on the end around, and Travis Reese on the tackle. We thought it would be a defensive slugfest, and both defenses have forced a turnover. West Bloomfield has the lone score in the opening frame. It was a Donovan Edwards 78-yard sprint to Pater, and it's 7-0 West Bloomfield as we get set to start the second. The MHSAA Football State Championships on Fox Sports Detroit are brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. By Meyer. Meyer knows when we support the home teams, we all win. And the Sparrow Health System. Wear a mask, save a life. Sparrow Health System. Donovan Edwards, 78 yards to the house. And that's given West Bloomfield the early lead. That's 78 of their 127 total yards on one play. The penalties have hurt West Bloomfield. Both teams have been able to move the football, but both teams have a turnover as well as we get to start the second quarter. It is 2nd down and 5 for Davison. Ball resting at their own 23-yard.
You can look here now. The strength of their formation is to the boundary in this situation. Sometimes Jake Weingartz like to put the formation to the boundary, yet run away to the field.
Instead, runs to the short side. Yep. Warren, not much room at all. Couldn't find a hole. West Bloomfield gobbled him up, and it was led by Jordan Hoskins, the senior middle linebacker.
If your tendency is to run to the power part of the formation where the tight end is lined up to strength, West Bloomfield can just start overloading a little bit. So he's going to have to cross up. He's going to have to run away from the formation, away from the power set.
third down for the Cardinals.
3rd and 5.
Brown wants to throw for it. Good coverage. And the pressure got to him.
Brown sacked by number 2, Travis Reese.
But they're trying in this play, Shep. They're trying to get Peyton Pizzala, the H-back. Like, pause it right here. Pause it there. They're going to leak him into the flat, but West Bloom does a good job at the point. Let it go. As he gets out into the flat, they kind of hit him. They hold him up a little bit. They don't allow it. So now Deon Brown has nowhere to go with the football. So he's just telling the guys to try to scramble down the field. But that's really, it's a one-trick pony play. You want to throw that flat pass, and Pizzala couldn't get out there. Obviously, West Bloomfield seen that's the bread and butter play on 3rd and medium for Davison.
And you expect West Bloomfield to get it in good field position, too, and a flag on the play. Another delay of game. I believe this is the first one against Davison.
Delay of game on the punting team. Number 13. Half the distance. Still 4th down.
Gabe Hopkins, a little bit of pressure here now. Shep, the last point he had 7 yards and went off the side of his foot. Back to his end zone. They need him to get something here. I don't think I go after this in this situation. I'd like the 2 return man just try to establish field position.
Might have gotten a piece of it. And that wobbles down to the 17-yard line. And that's it. I think there was partially tipped by a West Bloomfield player. Either that or Hopkins had his second punt off the side of his foot.
I don't think anyone gets near it. I think they're about a yard or 2 away. I think that's just another shank for Gabe Hopkins.
Lakers take over at the Cardinal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you look at the nearest defender for West Bloomfield was about a yard and a half away, and that was Trent Allison. That's just 2. I don't know. Sooner or later, it's funny. I asked Jake Weingartz how his special teams were, and I can't really say. He just said, let's just say well below average. His kicking game, and not pleased.
Above average field position for West Bloomfield. And that was Dylan Tatum squeezing through the hole down to the 15, but a flag in the play.
There is a flag.
And the 5th penalty of the day against West Bloomfield. Shooting themselves in the foot.
Holding on the offense. Number 53. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 1st down.
That frustrates Ron Bellamy, any coach, right? But especially Ron Bellamy, who he said, you know, there's a notion that we're a little undisciplined. He played high school football at Archbishop Shaw High School in Louisiana. And he played under Lloyd Carr and Nick Saban with Miami. He says, we're doing things the right way. You got to build by developing. And this is not the way West Bloomfield usually goes about their business. This is, though, thanks to Donovan Edwards with a good, strong run, getting it close to the 20-yard line.
Donovan Edwards carries the ball. Stopped by 95, Will Watkins.
Edwards, 235 yards and 4 touchdowns against Romeo a couple of weeks ago. And another flag. My goodness.
Whistle before the snap. There is a penalty.
Legal procedure on the offense. Number 53. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
These are drive killers, aren't they?
This is something that Ron Bellamy's fought with his team. He says, you know, we have stretches where we get sloppy, we get some penalties, we lose any rhythm that we're trying to get. And this is one of them right here. You have great opportunity. You get the ball deep in your opponent's end after a shank punt, and you get 2 penalties. Now you're in a 2nd down and 20. But he's still going with Donovan Edwards as quarterback, or is that?
Yeah, Alex Short now back.
Okay, Alex Short's in. So now you got to think pass more if you're Davison.
On a 2nd down and 20 for West Bloomfield. And Davison, I believe, is called a timeout.
Timeout. Davison. This is their 2nd timeout first half.
Slow start to the second. West Bloomfield has the 7-0 lead and looking for more when we return. West Bloomfield already more points in this Division I state championship game than the last time they were here in 2017. They got on the first drive, Clarkston had to take a safety. Then Clarkston able to deal with a field goal before West Bloomfield had too many penalties, too many turnovers. The lowest scoring game in Division I finals history finishes 3-2. Kurt Richardson with his first ever state championship. But Ron Bellamy talked to Kurt Richardson and Clarkston about that game and preparing for state championship games. He's been one of the mentors for Ron Bellamy. Second down and 20 for West Bloomfield here. Alex Short, pressure coming off the edge. He sends a bomb into the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Well, that almost could have been offensive pass interference, if anything. A good job against Donovan Edwards by Tavion Warren. He had inside position, and Donovan Edwards actually pulls him down by the shoulders, him being Tavion Warren. As he's opening up for the ball. Actually, he doesn't really pull him. I thought it's more he just kind of loses his footing, but that's good no call.
And really good coverage by Warren, as you brought up. Yeah.
Use the sideline as your friend when you're a defensive back. Force the receiver wider and wider.
Warren does have a couple of picks on the year. Both of them have been returned for touchdowns. Third down and 20 for West Bloomfield.
Well, this is important here. If West Bloomfield can get up 5 or 10 yards with a great kicker like Jake Ward, they're going to have an opportunity to at least get points.
And a timeout, West Bloomfield now.
This has the rhythm of me at a wedding reception.
West Bloomfield.
None.
This will be their second timeout for the first half.
Oh, that's a great example. But it's an important play. Ron Bellamy wants some points on this possession. His team leads 7-0. What's he cooking up on 3rd and 20?
Every day, there are doors to open and steps to be taken. There are chapters waiting to be written. There are simple things that mean the world, and things so complex they can change a world. There are decisions to make that make all the difference, and we have a part in all of it every day.
You need to talk to him.
What's this? Oh, are we kicking Carly out?
We live with AT&T. It was a lapse in judgment. AT&T, we called this house meeting because you advertise gig speed internet, but we can't sign up for that here.
Yeah, but I'm just like warming up to those speeds.
You've lived here for 2 years.
Well, the personal attacks are not helping, Carly. Don't you have like a hot Pilates class to get to or something?
Stop living with AT&T. Xfinity can deliver gig to the most homes.
Hey, tune in tonight to watch your Detroit Pistons take on Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the Philadelphia 76ers on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Coverage begins with Pistons Live at 7:30. Tip-off follows at 8 o'clock. That's tonight, Pistons and Sixers on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Hopefully Detroit has a little more luck than they had last night. Kind of got hosed last night in a 1-point loss.
It's total unbiased opinion.
I know. I'm not a homer.
It's all right to be a homer.
Yeah.
This is our home. Detroit.
Frustrates me a little bit. You watch the Wings lose to the Blackhawks. Nothing gets my gainer up like that. Alex Short out of the pistol formation with a 4 wide receiver set on a 3rd and 20, Rubes, for West Bloomfield.
Let's watch Donovan Edwards is in the slot to the bottom of the screen.
Draw to Tatum. Net in the hole and driven backwards at the 23-yard line. Nice play by Clark Hamilton, the middle linebacker.
He just fit him up. He fit up Tatum as he came through, a one-on-one tackle. And as I said, now they're able to get about 5 yards. And with a kicker like they have, a really good kicker in Jake Ward. Here it is. They try running a draw. And look at Clark Hamilton. Just fit it. That's nice. That's form tackling.
It's be a 39-yard field goal attempt from Jake Ward, one of the better kickers in the state. Offers from Ferris State and Valparaiso.
Not a lot of practice kicking field goals because this team, the Lakers, able to score touchdowns most drives this year.
Good point. Yep. He has made 4 out of 7 on the year. And make it 5 out of 8. Solid punch through the uprights. And West Bloomfield extends their lead to 10.
Jake Ward with a 39-yard field goal.
What a weapon. With, you know, we talk about Harry Unger going down, and that's been a big part right now. But bigger part is the kicking game. 2 shank punts by Davison. Even though West Bloomfield shoots himself in the foot with penalties, with a kicker like Jake Ward, they're able to salvage 3 points out of that drive.
A little body English helps from Ron Bellamy, doesn't it?
Ronnie B, pretty happy.
Yeah. He's a good dude, isn't he?
He's a great guy. You know, I've known Ron for years. He married a teammate of mine. Remember Dexter Bussey?
I do, yeah.
Married to Dexter's daughter. So I got the skinny on Ron early on from DB. He let me know. I said, well, keep him in line. And Ron, then, you know, when he was in the NFL, and he had a cup of coffee with the Lions, I had him play some of the off-season charity basketball, and he was wonderful with the young kids.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's just a good man. When he got into coaching, I followed his career, and he's just been so successful.
It takes a lot of pride in his special teams, Rubes. I mean, he says we have one of the best special teams in the state. He focuses on that. He really is proud of what his kicking game brings to the table.
Wow.
Good leg, huh? Let's know Davison a little bit, huh? Besides being the Division I defending state champions, named after Judge Norman Davison of Lapeer County, was a train station, then a village, then a city in 1938. And one of the famous alum, not just Tim Thomas was a Stanley Cup champ. How about Kenny Morrow, who was raised in Davison, and he was part of the Miracle on Ice team in 1980, won some cups with the New York Islanders, and played his college hockey at what was then the CCHA Bowling Green State University.
And I'm going to throw one more alumni in there. We're
Go
going to
ahead.
give Eastern Michigan, our Eagles, a plug. Barry Stokes.
Sure.
Barry Stokes is from Davison, Eastern Michigan. A nice career, probably 8-9 years in the NFL.
Baltimore,
Bounced
right?
around
Baltimore Ravens a little bit.
Was in with Detroit as well. So
good stuff. 1st and 10. Carter Kreiderman on the toss sweep, had to scoop it up on a short hop like a shortstop, but that's an incomplete pass. That is a pass, folks. It's moving forward, and that is an incomplete toss, so it's 2nd down and 10.
And the Davison fans saying, well, that's a tough break, but if he doesn't recover it, it'd have been the best thing in the world, and it was. He shoveled it about a yard ahead. You have to understand, it doesn't matter if it goes underhand, overhand, around the back. If it goes forward, it's a pass. If it goes backwards, it's a lateral. It's that simple.
Second and 10.
Deion Brown trying to get his offense into a groove. They did on their first drive. He's going to keep it. Good decision as he spins past the 25 to the 26. Last week against Rockford in a 27-3 final. Again, as Rob Rubick pointed out, little surprising. Tavion Warren was fantastic. But Rockford had a really good offense, folks. And Davison just shut them down and forced some turnovers when they needed to. Big interception by Jalen Flowers. And then Deion Brown into the end zone with a easy lob touchdown to Jalen Murray Flowers. Kreiderman trying to bounce it to the outside and using some strength to get close to the 1st down yard marker.
Boy, he's going to be within a yard. And right now, Coach Weingart has got to be thinking, boy, it's 1 yard. We should be able to get it. But sometimes you got to just step back and say, it's a longer game. We're just in the 2nd quarter.
But his punting unit has struggled.
You know, great point. Totally missed that, Shep. He might go and say, we're going to punt. I've got 7 yards and 11 yards on my last 2 punts, but he's sending them out there again. I might have.
4th and 1.
Now, during the West Bloomfield offensive possession, Gabe Hopkins was practicing punting into the net on the sidelines. Let's see if it paid off for him.
Delay game. Clock ran out. They actually called it for procedure, but it was also delayed game.
Procedure on a kicking team. Number 9, 5 yards, still 4th down.
But that's one that Jake Weingart has to take credit for. You got to. If you're undecided, that's fine. Then you need to either burn a timeout or do something. But you can't try to send your punt team, take your offense off with about 12 seconds. It's just, this is high school. There's no time.
Double safeties back for West Bloomfield. A high kick from Hopkins, but it's short. It takes a Davison bounce, though, and all the way down to the 37-yard line. That works.
Davison chanting on the sideline. They thought maybe it touched the return man, but it didn't.
7:14 left to go in this opening half. And West Bloomfield looking for more. They've run the football very effectively with Donovan Edwards out of the Wildcat. But when you get behind the chains, I don't care how good of a team you have, you can't get behind these chains very often and expect your offense to bail you out.
Yeah, this has been a, I say sloppy, but sloppy game.
Yeah, no,
you don't want to say it, but
it hasn't been well played.
Bad punts. It just doesn't have much flow to it right now. And they're going back to the Wildcat look with Donovan Edwards in the backfield.
Brings Tatum in motion and fakes it to him. Dead legs his way to the outside before tugged down at the 42-yard line.
He's just got really nice lateral quickness. He can do that jump stop, and then he explodes to his right. And we're going to look here. He goes up, and then when he goes sideways, he goes. Like I said earlier, you don't tell runners to run east and west, but when you have that type of burst, you allow it as a coach because something good can happen.
Just not just great on the football field, but off the field as well. Volunteers mentoring elementary and middle school kids. Handles the high snap nicely. To the outside. Look out. Down the sideline. A key block up ahead and out of bounds. Good block downfield from Jaden Rembert. Donovan Edwards was able to do the rest.
Well, everything is going to get just kind of bunched in the middle. You get those defenders sucked inside, and then that's just, I have really good speed and really big hands because I'm carrying that football like a loaf of bread. Let's get a look here. Get ready. Let it go a little bit. And get ready to pause it. Yeah, you can see everyone comes down inside.
To the outside, Tatum cut it back inside the 15.
We're going to look here. Let it go a little bit, and we'll show what we're talking about. His threat of going up the middle. Stop it right here. Look at all the purple shirts. There's just one out here you got to take care of. So let it go, and then when he goes outside, unable to make the play was Landon Kish, and then it's just, I'm a lot faster than you are, and I'm going to get to the edge.
On a 1st and 10. A feed to Elam, weaving his way, sniffing the goal line. He's got it. Touchdown, West Bloomfield.
Touchdown, West Bloomfield. Makai Elam, a 13.
And all of this starts because of the threat of Donovan Edwards at quarterback. Now you run the jet. You have to respect. Those linebackers can't fly out of there. Because if they do, Donovan Edwards short, he'll go right up the middle on you. And when you do that, then all of a sudden you give it on the jet and you hit it with speed on the perimeter like they just did there. It's tough. And Makai Elam just great quickness, really loaded with talent. In this game right now is going to be the next possession for Davison is going to be a big one. They may review it to see if he got inside the pylon.
2 ways to review plays in the championship game here at Ford Field. Turnovers and scoring plays. Here's what's coming up at halftime. A Mr. Football discussion with Lauren Plant of State Champs. We're going to preview what's up next in Division 5, and Rubes will break down the first half of play. Davison has been hurt by the loss of Harrison Unger, but West Bloomfield, give them credit. Their running attack is legit.
Well, here's a great view coming in. I think it's a touchdown.
Yeah, I do too.
Would you ever thought of doing that in high school as a quarterback?
No.
Me neither. I mean, I played in the NFL. I never thought. The first one I ever saw do that, we were down playing in Tampa. James Jones, a fullback / tailback for the Lions back in the 80s. We were playing in Tampa, and it was a 3rd down and a couple, and he was getting tackled. He was laying back, falling backwards. He took the ball and stretched it to the yard marker. And I'm like, that's pretty smart. But no one ever done that. Now everyone does. Yeah, Pee Wee football, they stretch it for the couple.
He's still a good friend of yours, isn't he, James Jones?
Jim's a great dude. But yeah, now at all levels, you see these high school kids, they don't understand about that pylon, and they put the ball.
On a review, it's confirmed. Touchdown.
I love having a I love having the replay.
I do too. But you know what really helps with that reaching toward the pylon is what Fox implemented, the camera inside the pylon. Big deal. Extra point upcoming from Jake Ward. Has only missed one all season long. Already a 39-yard field goal for Jake Ward. And now trying to make it a 17-0 West Bloomfield lead. And he does.
Yes, the PAT is good from Jake Ward.
What a feeling that must be. They'll take it. And they've been doing it against a beaten-up Davison defense and without arguably their best player, Harrison Unger, earlier in the contest, suffering this injury right here on offense.
And it's really weird because it's a hammy. They said it's a hamstring injury, which you usually get from either starting or stopping or planning. And he doesn't say, I don't know. I thought it might have been, broken tibia, some lower leg injury where he got hit, but that's tough. The young man's heading to Air Force, so maybe his high school career is through, but his football career is far from over.
Emotional early. Now he's settled in, recognized that he's out for the rest of the game, and trying to help his defense. He's become much more of a vocal leader and a leadership role taken upon Harrison Unger because of the loss of Brendan Sullivan to Northwestern. And now Davison will try and get something late going here in this half. Jalen Murray Flowers and Tavion Warren are back deep to receive Jake Ward's kickoff. No need.
Do you see these two guys back there? That's funny. They don't even move. It's like when Cecil Fielder used to hit home runs for the Tigers.
Right,
the outfielder just kind of stand and look. They wouldn't even run backwards. That's what that was on that kick.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit at Comerica Park. Miguel Cabrera hit one straightaway center field. I don't recall exactly the team, but the center fielder just basically stayed there looking at home plate. I know it's gone. 17-0 West Bloomfield. As Davison offense needs to kick it into gear.
We'll find what Coach Weingart's can do now. He's playing from behind. Most of the playoff in this season, he's been playing ahead. Let's see what he can do coming behind. It's a tough task when you don't have your quarterback, your #1 quarterback, and your tight end. But let's see what we can do. Deion Brown has done a nice job during the course of this playoff run.
Tavion Warren scoots his way to the 26.
I think, though, Shep, if you're Davison, you've got to keep jabbing. We talked in the open about their running game is jab, jab, jab. You need to wear this West Bloomfield defense down because we saw the success that Belleville had, as I stated earlier. So keep running the ball. You still have 6 minutes. If you can put a drive together now, get a score before the half. It could change the whole complexity.
You'll take 6 yards on first down every day. Davison just the one timeout in case time becomes a factor here in the half. And West Bloomfield will start the second half with the football. Carter Kreiderman bouncing to the outside. Good run as he lowers the shoulder to get close to a first down. Ball came loose. It did come loose, and it's West Bloomfield ball. Maxwell Harrison and Jordan Hoskins tag teamed on punching it loose.
Loose ball recovered by West Bloomfield.
I'm not sure what happened. I know Carter Kreiderman, well, he turned it up. Oh yeah, definitely.
It's definitely loose.
Oh. Yeah, his hand. That's going to be. It should be reversed because his hand, the guy that recovered the ball's hand hit the out of bounds white as he grabbed the football. This could be the first. This could be the first reversal of the Ford Field weekend here. I don't think anything's been reversed yet. I think this one will be reversed. You can't be out of bounds, and part of his body was out of bounds.
That was Kyle Johnson who recovered the fumble.
Now, I was adamant earlier in the first game, 2-on-1, which I was incorrect on. So do not take my word.
Yeah, that ended up being a good game. Traverse City St. Francis and New Lothrop. New Lothrop ends up winning it. Their third ever title. Here it is again.
Ball's out. Well, this could be the first place if 11, or number 10 Hoskins, if he was touching the ball, he's out of bounds, so that would negate the turnover. But then if that's not, then coming in,
Kyle Johnson,
you can see his form and his hand was out of bounds when he was trying to.
Here's the official word coming up.
We're looking maybe at the clock now and the spot.
If this goes against Davison, this could be devastating for him.
Well, you know, even if it does, it's a really nice play by West Bloom coming up and lowering the boom. Now, it looks to us like he was out of the forearm of the hand was out of bounds when the ball was recovered. But the call was a recovery on the field.
After review, there was a fumble. The ball was recovered from West Bloomfield. He was out of bounds, making him 11. Therefore, the call will be reversed. It will be Davison ball, second down.
Break for the Cardinals.
And the right call. You know, you got to respect the boot because that's a tough call. You know, you see that in the NFL, it's been an easier call because they have more cameras, but definitely that's a break for Davison, a tough break for Ron Bellamy and his West Bloomfield Lakers, but it's the right call.
Got the technology, use
Correction.
it, right?
It would be third down. Ball would be third down. Play will start. 1 yard, team.
From the 29 of Davison.
3rd and 1.
Tavion Warren got the first down.
Warren is tackled by Hoskins.
Go!
That's enough for a first down. Davison.
Now, you got to be careful here. You look, the offensive linemen are starting to tip it a little bit. They're getting back on their haunches. Let it go. And you can tell that they're going to pull. It's really number 56, Lucas Egger. He's got to be careful. He's going to start tipping it.
Fresh set of downs. But not much running room in the middle of that West Bloomfield D.
Warren brought down by Gavin Hardman. 50, Jaden Green also on the stop.
And his second down and 9 for Davison.
Second and 9.
Remember, this is a Davison offense that has been potent all year long. Over 400 yards per game. Over 41 points per contest. They've been shut out with 4.5 left in the half. Brown wrapped up after a couple of yards. Stick around at the half. Lauren Plant from State Champs is going to join us. We'll discuss the finalists for Mr. Football and the Anvil Award. We'll look back on today's Division 7 final. That was a thriller in the second half. And Rob Rubick breaks down the first half of this Division 1 State Championship game. It's all coming up at the half here on Fox Sports Detroit. 2 more games after this as well.
3rd and 6.
Now, this is where you really miss Brendan Sullivan. He was a really good quarterback moving out of the pocket. And he had the ability to run and tuck it. And a big body at 6'4", about 200 pounds.
Brown will throw, sets up a screen. Played well by West Bloomfield. Jordan Hoskins made the tackle, but Travis Reese made the play. 2 and White sniffed it out early and allowed everybody else to clean up what he started.
And you're limited when you start calling plays for Davison, and they've West Bloomfield has seen this screen early in the game where they had success, Davison did, but this time there was a lot of white jerseys there. But you're limited what you can do in the passing game with a quarterback who's so new as Deion Brown is. And right now, West Bloomfield's kind of onto it. They see the screens coming, and they're really doing a nice job in defending them.
4th punt for Davison already. A good one that takes a Cardinals bounce. And this will end up being a dandy. Right around the 17. 17-0. West Bloomfield has dominated offensively. A 50-yard punt puts them back inside their own 20 when we return.
My mama mean the world to me. I ain't never have no real woman love. I've always had my dad, but it's real different from having, a father that he loves you, but he's doing the best he can for you and your brother, trying to provide. But at the same time, you would wish that you had, your mom with you.
That's our very own Mickey York sitting down with Donovan Edwards. Many people know Donovan for the accomplishments he's made on the field, but not many people know about the adversity he's faced off, and that's losing his mother at the age of 3. Guys, what an incredible story. She has to be so proud of him.
Yeah, that is a very challenging upbringing. I mean, great job by his father. He's raised a fine young man, a heck of a football player, but we all need moms in our lives, especially early in our lives. And hats off to his father, and also hats off to Donovan Edwards, because he's a guy who's really become a strong leader for this West Bloomfield team. His leadership showed through last week when they watched Belleville score 13 straight points, and he forced everybody to keep their composure, and he's been composed here today on a championship Saturday. Alex Short on the quarterback keeper. It's a different look, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was Donovan Edwards. I thought, he lost a step between this series and the last one. Yeah. But that was Alex Short, and that's not a knock on Alex. It's just really praising the quickness of Donovan Edwards.
Did pick up a yard before Kobe Sellers and Landon Kish wrapped him up.
Jake Weingartz and Davison, they have 1 timeout remaining, so if they get another stop here, Shep, I'd imagine after 3rd down they would use it.
See if they bring pressure. Right up the middle. Edwards. Boy, after contact, too. He's so good after he gets a couple of hands or pads on him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's it. That's what I'm saying. We're open and we talk about him. Some people know. You don't have to watch much to realize. Yeah, it's hard for us to tell. What level is this kid going to play at college? You got guys like Donovan Edwards, you're like, okay, I see. He's a power forward.
Right. He's got the it factor. Fumbled the snap. Calmly picks it up, and down he goes. Will Watkins was all over it.
Davison should take a timeout. The clock is ticking away. It's 4th down.
Tackles Edwards for a loss. Back near the 17.
Wow. It's about, 12, 14 seconds.
Yeah.
That's on Donovan Edwards there. That snap is a little bit to his right. He's got those sticky gloves on. You got to make that play, but he did do as smart as he was able to get back to it quickly, survey the situation, and just take the ball and kind of turtle a little bit. And punting, we talk, Shep, we say this every game, and this is something I learned from you, is ending every drive with what is not bad?
A kick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Punt, extra point, or a field goal.
West Bloomfield hasn't had to do it much because of their running attack led by the aforementioned Donovan Edwards. 78 yards right up the middle. Once he's into that secondary, no one's touching him. Couple of fumbles. Tatum fumbled. There's a miscommunication on the part of Davison. Got a 39-yard field goal from Jake Ward. And then West Bloomfield stretching the defense a little bit. And this time, Elam reaches in for a touchdown run. And that's where we stand, 17-0.
Well, this is important. Deion Brown is deep. It's important that he catches this punt. Don't let it get on this Ford Field turf and roll 15, 20 yards.
LaFata, good punter. Off the left side of his foot, though. Ooh. Just jinxed him. And that helps Davison. Remember, West Bloomfield was helped a couple of times by poor Davison punts. This one should help the Cardinals. It went just 18 yards.
You're going to see As he drops it, it just tails a little bit, and it goes right off the side of his foot. And Davison will have a short field. 35 yards with, what do you got, a minute 23, Shep, no timeouts. And let's see what Deion Brown can do throwing the football, because you're going to be forced to throw more than just a screen here, more than just a curl route. You need to maybe try to get the ball vertical. The bad part is West Bloomfield, the strength of this defense, I think, is the linebackers. But right after that, it's your coverage people. You got Harrison heading to Kentucky in that back end. He's really good. And you look on the other side for West Bloomfield, Gavin Hardiman, he's tough. And then you got Rankin and Tatum. And geez, you got just athletes.
Can Davison still run the ball here?
You can, but you know, that clock's going to keep going.
They will do just that to start the drive.
Now you got to hurry up. There you go. Get back to the line. Shep, you called it. You can run the ball. I think eventually they're going to have to throw something and take your, no, not that much of a hurry. You don't want to get a motion penalty. That's illegal formation. You got 5 guys in the backfield.
Flag on the play. Floating it, caught. Pizzala, touchdown, but will it stand?
Nope. And Jake Weingartz knows if we get a shot at head coach of Davison stalking the sidelines, he's talking to Jalen Flowers right now, saying you got to be up. You have to be on the ball. That's a shame. They get the play they wanted. They get Pizzala down the seam.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 men in the backfield. Repeat, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
All right. Only ones on the line of scrimmage are these 6 gentlemen. You need to have 7. All of these other ones are in the back. So that's, you knew when that plays out. That's why I called it on your call, Chef. I knew it was coming back no matter what happened, and that's the correct call.
Second down and 8.
Jake Weingart's not happy, but you know, it's one of those things. Geez, we've been just mucking our way. We finally hit a play. And
Brown will throw again. Incomplete. He thought Jalen Flowers was running a post, and Flowers cut it off.
No, it's not like Davison without weapons. You have Jalen Flowers Murray.
Right.
You have some weapons. Pizzala, Peyton Pizzala is a nice possession, mid-range receiver. So you have some guys that can make some things happen.
You get the ball to Warren in
Tavion
space.
Can come out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So you have some athletes out there. But you just, right now, you can just tell they haven't had to throw the ball much. Against Catholic Central, they weren't forced to throw the ball. Against Rockford, they really weren't forced to throw the ball. And they just don't look comfortable doing it right now.
They are 3 for 7 on 3rd downs today. Pressure comes, Brown unloads, and it is incomplete. Tipped by Grant Lentinen.
I go for it here.
Boy, if Warren catches that ball, he might be into the end zone.
Absolutely, but if he misses it, it's going to be about a 15 or 20-yard gain, and it's one of those as a defensive back, you got to trust your instincts, and really right here, you look at this on the replay, that's close. I mean, that's really close. You know, Grant Lentinen almost has a chance to pick it, but if he misses it, you said Warren might walk in the end zone because there's a blocker ahead.
4th down and 8.
Oh, if Davis catches a break, they are all discombobulated, and West Bloomfield took the timeout, I believe.
West Bloomfield.
They did. Their final timeout.
Final timeout for the first half.
Yeah, well, I think, Shep, in this situation, I'm looking for some type of formation where I get someone out of the backfield, replace someone in the middle. So if you have a tight end, run them through the middle of the field, take your back and loop out where the tight end just cleared the middle. I love the play where you trail with the halfback after the zone has already been flushed, or after you've taken a man-to-man coverage down the field. Now, in that situation, if West Bloomfield's in man coverage, the linebacker might be locked on that running back, and then you have to make a move and get open. But I think, you got to break tendency and break coverage somehow. Run people off, get your back out.
These are the formations you and I talk about when we see football and we see a defense try to have more conversation and more communication in the backfield. This is where I like going bunch formation or stack formation for wide receivers to get them moving and crossing.
You know, Shep, that's really good because West Bloomfield plays a lot of man, too. Yeah. They like to man up. Anytime you got crossing routes, do they switch? Do they try to stay with it, with their man? It can create some problems.
Big cushion on Pizzala in the slot to the left of Deion Brown. Pressure from the edge. Brown eludes it, floats it for the end zone, and it is caught but out of bounds. Good adjustment by Jalen Murray Flowers, but he was out of bounds, and the ball goes back to West Bloomfield.
This is a nice job by Hardiman, forcing Murray Flowers out of bounds. We got ISO right here as he releases. That's just deep quarter coverage. Gets his hand on him a little bit and just moves him out of bounds. And the call, people say, well, he had his hand on, that's pass interference. It's not really pass interference unless you alter him. And it was more like a touch thing. Jaden Murray Flowers took himself out of bounds. Jalen Murray Flowers, rather. He took himself out of bounds.
Just 36 seconds remain. West Bloomfield, again, a reminder, they will get the football to start the second half. So you sure won't see it in the air here. Edwards still has it. Good tackle. He's wrapped up at about the 35-yard line by the aforementioned Jalen Murray Flowers. Goes from wide receiver to cornerback.
A little surprised Ron Bellamy's in a hurry. I guess anytime you can get Donovan Edwards' hands on the ball, one more play and a half.
Brooke Fletcher will be talking to Ron Bellamy as soon as the clock winds down. Edwards, who's in line for the Mr. Football honor, will be part of our discussion at halftime with Lauren Plant of State Champs. And it was a nice first half for Donovan Edwards. There's a reason he wanted to stay and finish his high school season and not go to Ann Arbor early. He got the blessing of Jim Harbaugh and his staff, and he did so because Donovan Edwards wants to win a state title. If so, it'd be the first in West Bloomfield football history, and I believe the first since their baseball team won one in 1983. Folks, you want to know how long ago that was? That was my senior year in high school. All my buddies who I played travel baseball with won a state championship back then. Ron Bellamy is halfway home. Harrison Unger out for the game, and he's been missed by Davison. But probably more missed has been the ability for Davison to move the ball through the air. That West Bloomfield defense has been strong.
It has, and you know, Jake Wangers had to figure something out to have. They got to get something more in the passing game. A couple different plays that gives them some more options besides just the screen game. You look at Deion Brown, he can spin the ball. He can throw it down the field. They just have to give him something to work with.
Brooke Fletcher is with Ron Bellamy of West Bloomfield. Brooke.
Coach, solid performance from your team on both sides of the ball in the first half. What impressed you?
No, we're playing good defense. We had to get settled in a little bit. They're a great football team. They're physical. We had to match their physicality. We never played these guys before, and I think our defense did a great job holding them to no points. And for us offensively, you know, we felt like we could run the football against them, and we're doing a heck of a job. We had the early turnover, but if we limit the turnovers, we give ourselves a good chance to win this ball game.
Going into this game, you said the key for your team is to finish. Well, you're going into halftime with momentum on your side. How do you finish the game today?
You know what? Limit their big plays, stop the run the football ourselves, and don't turn the ball over. And we had 6 uncharacteristic penalties in the first half. It's just too many. I think it's the jitters. You know, kids playing in Ford Field and coaches for that matter as well. So we just got to continue to play the game the right way and come out here with a victory.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Matt, back to you.
All right, Brooke, thanks very much. An exciting second half on tap for us here at Ford Field, led by Donovan Edwards. He's in the conversation for Mr. Football. We will talk about that and who his competition is when we return after this on Fox Sports Detroit. Donovan Edwards led West Bloomfield team leads Davison 17-0 at halftime in the Division I High School State Championships. Welcome back to our coverage here on Fox Sports Detroit. Honored to welcome in a friend of ours, Lauren Plant, the executive producer and host of State Champs. They've got a big week coming up because they have to decide on who Mr. Football will be. You've got 4 dynamite candidates from which to choose. Tell us a little bit about them.
All right, well, let's give you the 4 that we have. Of course, you've seen them already in this game. West Bloomfield's explosive running back Donovan Edwards. Belleville's history-making quarterback, Christian Reed, Muskegon Mona Shores, the Superman, the Swiss Army knife, Brady Rose, and, of course, DeWitt's dynamic quarterback, Tyler Holtz.
We'll see Tyler Holtz a little bit later on our air. We saw Brady Rose yesterday, and we're getting a great look at Donovan Edwards, who has 147 yards in the first half here against Davison. Tell me a little bit about Edwards and what you guys think makes him so special.
He's a returning Mr. Football finalist. He's 157 carries, 1,431 yard season, 24 TDs coming in, number 2 ranked player in the state, 4-star tailback. You know, he had 6 touchdowns in his first half performance versus Sterling Heights Stevenson, 245 versus Romeo. He's amazing. Christian Reed, he was disappointed they didn't get to the state finals, but he will graduate with 137 career touchdown passes, the best in MHSAA history, 158 completions on 206 attempts. An amazing athlete. Talk about amazing athletes. Brady Rose, after pinch hitting last year, winning the title, back-to-back state champs, 2-way standout, over 1,500 yards on the ground, 24 touchdowns, AP 1-2 player of the year. He's a dream teamer. Several of these guys are dream teamers, but this guy does it all. Ty Holtz, our lone junior in the competition. And this is a team that has been undefeated in the D3 state finals. He was 110 for 168 passing, 2,220 yards, 31 touchdowns, just 2 picks. Now, he's an unranked guy, but pound for pound, you can argue DeWitt is the best team in the state. And they've already beaten guys like Warren De La Salle and Muskegon. So, tough choice.
What's the criteria that you guys will use?
Yeah, so we have a criteria that we've used for years. We rate these guys based on 30% performance throughout the season. We have 20% goes to their level of competition. We have 20% which goes to the online vote. That's where the people vote, and we let them kind of pick who they feel should be Mr. Football, or at least in the Final Four. 15% goes to their big game performance, 10% to team success, 5% if you're a highly recruited athlete.
It is always about the skill position players. It's tough to get linemen in there. I hear a lot of people say, how come guys like Marco Spindler aren't in a situation, or Rocco Spindler isn't in a situation like that? It's a tough situation for that, so you got to have somebody else or another award to help those big fellas, don't you?
3 years ago, we created the Anvil Award, and Hungry Howie's came to the table, said we want to reward the linemen as well. These are our final 4. Rocco Spindler, who was our 2-time online vote winner, he is in the Final 4 out of Clarkson. Rayshawn Benny, who was, basically didn't play the first 5 games, was injured. 4-star guy, came back, led Oak Park all the way to the state semifinals. I mean, he was unbelievable, never came off the field. Damon Payne, #1 player in the state out of Belleville. First player to go to Alabama since Mark Ingram from the state of Michigan. Impressive. Michael Heldman. If you didn't watch Romeo play this year, you didn't see Michael Heldman. He set almost a single season sack record this year, 16.5 on the season.
What day will you make the decision, and how can we find out about it?
Okay, so stay tuned to State Champs Network. Of course, you can follow us on State Champs Michigan. We will make the decision this week. What we'll do is we'll get into our war room just as we did to decide the Final 4. We've got our committee, and we're going to decide both Mr. Football and the Anvil Award, and we try to make it a surprise so the person who is on the receiving end really doesn't expect it coming in. That always makes it extra fun.
Yeah, we look forward to it, Lauren. Thanks very much. Donovan Edwards is making a statement here today. On a championship Saturday, he already has over 140 yards rushing. Part of it, this 78-yard sprint to Pater to give West Bloomfield the early lead, and now up 17 at the half on Fox Sports Detroit.
Stay with us after the game as our coverage of the MHSAA football final continues. And you won't want to miss what's next. Coming up at 4:30 p.m., the Division 5 title game. The high-flying defending champions of Grand Rapids Catholic Central battle upset-minded Frankenmuth. Find out who will reign supreme in Division 5 next on Fox Sports Detroit. West Bloomfield coming up big in the first half. They are up 17-0 here at half. Much more to come when we return. The MHSAA Football State Championships on Fox Sports Detroit are brought to you by Goodman Acker, Detroit's trusted law firm. By Chocolate Milk, the official beverage of the MHSAA. By Addicts, visit addictsportswear.com to start your custom order today. And by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Mask up, Michigan. Spread hope, not COVID. West Bloomfield with a huge first half. They are up 17-0 here at halftime. But hey, can Davison come back? We'll find out in the second half. Much more from Matt Shepard and Rob Rubick when we return.
A little surprising here that Davison has been unable to garner much more than 100 total yards of offense, Rob Rubick.
Well, it's the inability to do that right there, throw the ball, and it's their ability here. You look at, I'm sorry, that's crooked as dog's hind leg, right there. you put this one right here. The ability of them, you get 9.7 yards to play. Now that is skewed for the fact that Donovan Edwards has a 78-yard run. You take that out, all of a sudden the stats get a little bit tighter. You don't take it out because he got a 78-yard run. But it would be 100 to 120 yards. It was a defensive half. It's what we thought we'd get, Shep. We knew it was going to be a lower scoring game. We thought it'd be a little bit tighter than this at half, but there's a whole half to go.
All 203 yards of West Bloomfield's offense have been on the ground so far. Donovan Edwards has 147 of those. He and his offense get the football when we come back. Davison needs some second-half adjustments. What will those be? Their head coach, Jake Weingartz, is with our Brooke Fletcher.
Coach, West Bloomfield's offense is giving you some trouble with that running attack. How can your defense adjust and slow them down in the second
You know what, it's not I don't think it's a defensive problem. Obviously, you know, offensively, we come out first drive, pound it down the field, turn the football over. Right here before halftime, we got a great trick play dialed up. You know, one person doesn't do their job, we get a touchdown called back. I think our defense playing their butt off. Obviously, they had one big play, but you know, offensively, we have shot ourselves in the foot. Turnovers, you know, shank punt on specials. So we got to come out first possession score.
What was your message to Dion Brown at halftime?
I mean, you know, he hasn't flinched all year. And you know, just stay the course, lead them, let's go. It's still a ball game. Let's come out, let's score, make it a 10-point game, and then obviously go from there.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Matt, back to you.
Brooke, thanks very much. Rubes, look, that's the right message. Here's the positive for Davison. They're going to get the football. It's not like West Bloomfield is one of those teams in a lower division that kind of Pac-Mans the clock, right?
Yeah, they can get some 3 now. It's West Bloomfield. Now, it depends if they go with the Wildcat and leave Donovan Edwards at quarterback, or if they bring Alex Short back in and throw the ball a little bit. But I think Ron Bellamy's going to put his other Alex Short in and let him get some reps in the second half. But if push gets, you know, when rubber hits the road, if she gets tough, you're going to see Donovan Edwards back in the Wildcat, because that's where they've had the most success.
Too many penalties in the first half for either coach's liking, and some turnovers as well. But we do know Donovan Edwards was a dominant performer in the first half.
Yeah, he is why people come to this game or watching it right now to watch number 6. He has that big play capability, wonderful balance. There's a turnover by Tatum we saw, and then some miscommunication in the backfield between Kreiderman and Warren and Dion Brown. And then the nice kick by Ward. Just, you know, really limited highlights. I mean, there's only been a few big plays and a nice job getting to the edge for the touchdown by Makai Elam. Just interesting half. It just, like Shep, we said, it was kind of felt like we were running in mud for a lot of it. There's just not a lot of tempo to either team.
The one highlight we didn't show is more of a low light for Davison. They lose their best defensive player, Harrison Unger, early in this ball game with an injury to his leg. I had mentioned that West Bloomfield gets the football to start. I was incorrect there. It's Davison, because Davison had won the coin flip and deferred is what it was. And they will get the football to start this third quarter. And as Jake Weingartz had mentioned, we got to score on our first possession. That's how important it is for them.
It's difficult because West Bloomfield is putting 7 in the box, and then they're also sneaking the safety, bringing Tatum down pretty close. So it's almost like they have 8 in the box. And normally when you run this power game, the trap and the counter and the quarterback power and all the read stuff, When they put 7-8 in the box, you're throwing it. It's automatic for the quarterback. You can check, and you're going to put the ball down the field. The problem is West Bloomfield mans you up outside, as you can see right here. Look at it. They just tighten you up man here. They play you man here. They lock man here. So if you can't win in the man coverage, you're in trouble.
They're trying to get to the edge, and they do get to the edge. That's a first down run on the very first play of the second half by Jalen Flowers.
Flowers, the ball carrier, taken down by Hoskins. First down.
Well, Jalen Flowers does a nice job. This is the jet. We've seen him run a lot of counter in the park. This is the give on the jet, and a good job blocking. And if Peyton Pizzala could just get up and get a helmet on Hoskins, it would even went for more. So just keep working downfield, work to the next level.
Hoskins so good, side to side, gap to gap, 10 in the middle of that West Bloomfield defense. They'll do the same play to the other side. Oh, Flowers is sandwiched at the 38-yard line. It's maybe just the third start for Deion Brown at the quarterback spot. The last couple, he'd been pretty darn good, okay, against Catholic Central. Made a couple of plays with his arm when he needed to. They weren't deep passes. Found Warren in the back of the end zone there. This is at Lapeer High School. And then set up a nice screen to Kreiderman. And then it's Pizzala on a perfectly executed play. And then against Rockford, he did go deep, really deep. And he found Flowers in the end zone and was able to get some good production there. A few touchdowns on the year, 53% passing completion percentage, and still been able to rush for almost 60 yards at that quarterback spot. There's an injured West Bloomfield Laker on the field. B.J. Rankin, the safety, the junior safety, is being looked at right now. And while they do that, we'll take a quick timeout here with Davison down 17-0, possessing the football on the first possession of the third quarter on Fox Sports Detroit.
Obviously, when we lost Brennan, we knew that was going to be a challenge, but Deion's obviously stepped up and done a great job, not only with his feet, but also with his arm, and obviously we have had some success, so hopefully we continue that today.
Deion Brown, the senior wide receiver turned quarterback out of necessity, who has guided the Cardinals to the state championship game against West Bloomfield and hoping to make it back-to-back titles for Davison High School. But West Bloomfield's defense and their running game has been more than a challenge so far here today. All important second down and 5 for Brown and company. Kreiderman looking for some room, and the pile is pushed forward for a first down carry.
A nice job, good push by the right and left side of that line as they pull to the power play. And Yusef DeCooley was doing a nice job. Zane Richardson also really good job getting a push. See him pull both from the weak side, and then they create a pile, and Kreiderman just really strong legs. They keep the pile moving and they keep working to move the sticks.
He got 6 on the carry. Kreiderman, this Davison offense's leading rusher. Flowers in motion. Brown gives it to him. Cutting it back. Spun around. And he had it taken out of his arms. Back the other way. Touchdown, West Bloomfield. Niles King just ripped it loose and took it to the house untouched.
Touchdown, West Bloomfield.
Sometimes it's just not your day. You know, you lose one of your best players, and then you got a young man in Flowers here just trying to make something happen, being a little bit of a jitterbug, extending the play. It looks like all of a sudden he might get loose and bring it back this way, Shep. But the defense, that time, you see him get spun around, and the big number 23, Niles King, comes in and says, "I'll take that, please." That is a backbreaker.
Long, athletic, at 6'4", 230, just a dynamite football player off the edge who's going to Grand Valley.
Yeah, it's hard to begrudge Jalen Flowers. All he's doing is trying to make a play. You know, he's being a football player.
It's effort. That's what he's giving you. He's giving you effort. Just didn't cradle the football enough to keep it away from Niles King. Extra point is good, and West Bloomfield tacks on 7 more. 24-0. This time, it's a defensive touchdown.
another look after Davison, or West Bloomfield rather, makes a 24-0 lead after this touchdown. Kind of a mugging here as you see Jalen Flowers just trying to make something happen. He's just jittering around. It looks like he's going to peel back and maybe come back against the grain and make something happen. But Niles King, number 23, just rips it from his hand. That's like taking candy from a baby. But, man, you got to hurt for Jalen Flowers. You think this is a kid just doing the best he can, Shep, to make something happen. They're down 17 and just extends the play too long. I mean, if he gets tackled like most players would have earlier, it's not a fumble.
And with that, West Bloomfield's done something to Davison no other team this year on their schedule has been able to do. Put up 24 points. Davison will get it back at their own 20-yard line. Meanwhile, really heads-up play by Niles King, right? I mean, that's his second touchdown of the year on the return for a fumble, and a really heads-up, solid play, and you love the togetherness. Look at Lucas Edgar right there, a 3-year starter telling, listen, Jalen Flowers, we need you, man. We can stage a comeback, but we got to have you. Stay in with us mentally and physically. Keep doing what you're doing. King with great size. Look at that 6'4", 230 frame, Rubes. He's going to play well in Allendale, isn't he?
Yes, he will. They can use him right now. Ferris State's kind of been the bully on that block here.
Yeah, and the Gliac.
Yeah. Matt Mitchell's got to get his team ready and not playing the schedule this spring, but looking forward to the fall.
Tiavon Warren is the lone setback for Davison. Stay committed to the run. Just a couple because Jordan Hoskins is man in the middle.
Tiavon Warren was the ball carrier. He's tackled by number 10.
When do you come out of your shell if you're Davison? I mean, is it getting to that point right now, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. You still have most of the second half. But what you do need to do is you do need to start getting a little bit of urgency where you're not hurry up, but you get your plays in maybe 5-10 seconds quicker than normal. Coach Weingart says if he wants an opportunity, obviously when you're the trailer, the more time you have, the better. Make a comeback.
Brown will keep it. Wiggles free. Bounce into the outside. Now cuts it back close to the 40. Good run by the Davison quarterback to get a little breathing room.
They've been running quarterback power. The running backs have been getting most of the action.
First down.
But this time, you're going to watch. You're going to just run it in here. De'Aaron Brown's going to take it here, and then he's going to work his way back. Going to pull on the weak side, too. Coming up to the front side. He sees the hole, and then cuts back, gets in there, gets lost a little bit. Nice job. Good footwork by number 1.
Warren carried a couple of tacklers to the 43, 44-yard line. A gain of 5. Gavin Hardiman credited with the tackle. Hardiman committed to Air Force. Got a couple of guys going to play for Bill Sheridan and his defense. Hardiman from West Bloomfield and Harrison Unger for Davison.
Opponents tonight, this afternoon rather, and be teammates soon. Big fan of the military academy, Shep.
Colorado Springs
beautiful
is beautiful,
city.
right? You and I love going to West Point. Been there a number of times. Warren again, up the middle, driving forward. Maybe a yard and a half shy of the first down yard marker. Travis Reese credited with the tackle.
Wrapped up by Reese and Green near the 40.
Hoskins gets a lot of the accolades, but Travis Reese in the film I watch, he's a playmaker, and I had a chance to talk to his pops, and so I put on his highlight film. Pretty impressive. You know, he's looking, he wants to play on as well after he leaves. Now, he's a senior, 6'3", 250, good size. He's had a few offers, mostly D2. He's kind of looking for a D1, possibly a MAC offer.
He's got the build, 6'3", 215. Warren in the backfield, gets the call. Shoulder shakes his way for a first down run. Good hard-earned run to the 44-yard line before Reese brought him down. A gain of 8 for Tiavon Warren.
We're looking at a 24-0 game right now, but it's a different type of 24-0. They have the defensive touchdown for the big return there. They had the long play the run by Donovan Edwards. It's not a team that's just gouging you up and down the field that you can't stop. Davidson's moved the ball. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time that they've gotten 30 or 40 yards and drives, but they just shoot themselves in the foot eventually.
Kreiderman can't get loose from Reese.
Kreiderman hit for a loss by number 2, Travis Reese.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
52.
Yeah, you look at that's a run blitz. Travis Reese coming through unblocked, replacing where the guard's pulling. Just nothing there. It's fun to be play linebacker for this team when you got such great cover people behind you. You can sneak up, you can cheat, you can anticipate, do the run-throughs against the run game because you know the lockdown corners have things taken care of.
And some good run stuffers in Evan Bunch and Jaden Green help out a little bit too in the middle. Warren was looking for a seam. Flag on the play.
Talk about shooting themselves in the foot. And there it is. You're going to get a holding call, I think, against Davison. Another drive they're trying to put together, trying to scratch and claw their way back.
Yeah, you're looking at 2nd and 13 now. If this is a hold against you.
Or a 3rd and 8, right? They picked up about 5. It'd be a 3rd and 8 or 2nd and 23.
It's a dental face mask on the offense. Number 2, 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Interesting. Incidental face mask. Is that on the ball carrier?
Jalen Murray Flowers.
Yeah, we're going to look.
Didn't think it was. I didn't think he was carrying it, was he?
No, it's Tavion Warren.
Yeah, right there.
That's a good call.
Sure
because
is.
he did once he had it, he let go, but it is incidental, a 5-yard penalty. You're going to talk to when are they going to start opening up? Well, look at Dean Brown. They've only done screens to date so far. Let's see if they can try to throw something vertical.
Well, these officials have done a nice job throughout the state championships, haven't they? Brown looking deep. Pressure comes, and he's wrapped up. Caleb Kelly
is hit by Kelly.
And not a lot of time in the pocket for Deion Brown. You're going to see they're going to bring 4, and then they bring a late 5th, and just a nice job getting up the field, and just not enough bodies inside to take care of that pressure. And Caleb Kelly's the one that finally gets in there and gets the sack. But they were collapsing that pocket from all sides.
Yeah, you've always told us you get pressure in a quarterback's face, right? That's where the biggest problem can really take place for a quarterback. And that's what West Bloomfield did. Sure, Caleb Kelly, rightfully so, gets credit for the sack. But really, that pressure came from the big fellas up front, led by Evan Bunch, 52 at the defensive tackle spot. Jaden Green, number 50. Those guys have done a nice job of squeezing down that box all day long.
Yeah, and it's all about down and distance, too. When you're a defensive player, you can pin your ears back. You know Davison, they had so many yards to get. You're in your pass rush mode right from the beginning. There's no run block. You're not using your hands trying to control the lineman before you engage in your pass move. You're coming right from the get-go to bring pressure, and Kelly was able to get the sack. And that's tough. The offensive lineman, I remember I played in the Lions, and if you were down late in the game and you had to throw all the time, they just were miserable. There's nothing worse you're trying to block Lawrence Taylor when he knows you're going to pass. Not, I have to play the run, and then I'm going to engage into my pass. No, you're going to throw because we're up, and you have to throw, and it's just...
Sounds like a guy from experience, huh? Against Lawrence Taylor.
I hope to get him in the Hall of Fame.
he was the toughest guy you ever had to block.
Oh, yeah, he was unblockable.
Yeah.
It's not even...
We talked about these two teams being the best teams in Division I. Well, the officials are the best in the state, too. When you get to this level, you get the opportunity to referee this game and officiate this game. I was talking with some of them. Some of these guys have been doing it for 48 years. Hats off to all these men who've done a whale of a job Friday and Saturday. Deion Brown rolls the pocket. Pressure comes. Squares his shoulder. Floats it downfield into double coverage and incomplete.
Brown's pass incomplete, intended for 34 of Peyton Mazzala.
4th and 23, forcing Davison into yet another punting situation.
And Lenton.
Just a little bit late getting it out. As you can see, Peyton Pizzalos thought he was open, but actually had a couple white jerseys right by him. Some of the things as a receiver, sometimes you think you're open, you're running because there's no one next to you, but they're just lurking behind, waiting for the quarterback to throw it.
Is there ever a receiver who doesn't think they're open?
No. They're not worth their salt if they do.
Good punt. Elam with a fair catch at the 16-yard line.
Well, Gabe Hopkins seemed to right the ship a little bit.
Yep.
Couple nice punts.
One was 40 yards to the good with no return. Earlier today, really good ball game. You and Johnny Kane called here on Fox Sports Detroit. New Lothrop with their third ever title, second in 3 years. They got some dynamite athletes.
Yeah, you got Will Miron, really good speed, gets to the edge, and they just had three players that put the hurt to him. And that's Garza right there. Julius Garza had a big day, and there's Clint Galvis, the head coach, and Cam Orr, the quarterback, defensive end. They just had a lot of weapons, but hats off to Josh Sellers and the St. Francis Gladiators. Down by 35-20, by 28 points, made a run, got it back to one score, and made it very competitive. And no quit in the boys from up north.
Yeah, it was an exciting game, especially in the second half. Edwards on his first touch of the third, all the way up to the 30-yard line.
Donovan Edwards carries the 29-yard line. First down, West Bloomfield. Tackled by Pizzala.
Picked up 12 and a first down on that first carry. Alex Short in at quarterback for West Bloomfield. Another give to Edwards. Breaks free. He's gone again. What a game and what a player.
Touchdown, West Bloomfield.
Well, the most difficult thing about this play is trying to show the replay and put it in slow motion because he moves fast. I think you put him in slow motion, he'll look like he's in real time. And you don't want to poke the bear. The play before this, you look, he comes right at you. There's a crease, well blocked. I mean, he doesn't get touched, and that's partly because he gets through the hole so quickly, but a good job at the point of attack. But I think he felt in the last play that Peyton Pizzala, when he tackled him, kind of twisted his knee or something, because you can see him jawing back and forth, and then they give it to him the next play, and great players do great things.
And he is a great player. 230 yards on the day. A 78-yard touchdown run, and the last one was good from 71. The extra point is academic. Donovan Edwards, a jaw-dropping performance. He's averaged 21 yards per carry today. I don't know if they want his picture. They want him to say something into the camera. They want to do some FaceTiming, whatever he wants. Yeah, maybe they'll get an autograph. Whatever he wants, let him do it because he's been unbelievable today.
And this is just a really nice job. We talk about getting the point of attack, creating a seam. You're going to watch right here and right here. They do a nice job of making a hole, and then the rest is Edwards. You look at the speed he gets through. Pizzala, number 34, he starts to go with the motion a little bit. It widens him, and that allows the crease to open up even more, and that's just, would that be fun? To be know that you're faster than everyone else who's playing? I'd never had that.
I wouldn't know.
Me neither.
But he has fun, doesn't he? And it's fun watching him, too.
Well, we're going to continue to have fun. If anyone in here is a Michigan fan, or even if you're not a Michigan fan, you live in this state, you're going to have an opportunity to watch Donovan Edwards at U of M.
How many more carries will he get? I mean, you're up 31-0.
Davison takes it to their own 20.
I know people in Ann Arbor are watching, and they are excited.
That was a good look at Ron Bellamy. Got to be happy. Got to feel vindicated a little bit. Had that 3-2 loss to Clarkston, which he just knew they didn't do their best. They didn't show what they could do. We're seeing a lot of their best today. They started just a little bit shaky, a few penalties, a little bumpy, but since then they've been truly dominant.
I did ask him, what are you doing differently this year than when you did when you first came here in 2017, lost 3-2 to Clarkston? He says, yeah, we've prepped a little differently. Minimizing the distractions helps us. He actually thinks minimizing tickets for people to come to the game has helped his team. He said they really got caught up in that a few years ago, where they were looking at a lot of things off the field that was distracting them, and they didn't get that concentration that they needed. Carter Kreiderman. It's a log jam in the middle.
Carter Kreiderman, running back.
West Bloomfield 10-1 on the season. The loss was to Clarkston earlier in the year, and then last week they almost stumbled a little bit But Donovan Edwards helped him out huge. We talked about his gaudy numbers against Romeo a couple of weeks ago of 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was a man amongst boys against Belleville as well. Look at what he did. Watch him, look at him run right over people and then just get up and go celebrate with his guys on his sidelines. And they won in double overtime, 35-34 over a very talented Belleville team.
Yeah, but, you know, maybe it'll look later on. They were a little bit lucky there, Shep, in that game because Jermaine Crowell, the coach of Belleville, decided in the second overtime, I believe. You called the game. Didn't they go for 2 in the second OT?
Yeah, they did go for 2. Some people applaud that. I thought, you know, at the end of regulation, they kind of played for a field goal, and that wasn't necessarily their
right?
Yeah. Wasn't necessarily in their DNA. Their DNA is about attacking teams. Similar to what Davison is. I mean, Davison's an offense that attacks you and a defense that shuts you down. But West Bloomfield's been too tough here today. Deion Brown with a home run ball that goes a little long for his intended receiver, Jalen Flowers. And here's the failed 2-point conversion.
And that play is made by the man who made the play a little while ago. That's King. Getting pressure, getting in the face of Dew Reed, and now allowing him, because they were trying. That's the play they ran earlier where they were going to try to get the ball to the motion back, coming in motion, but the tight end drags from the backside. And if the motion isn't there, you're going to try to hit the drag coming back because of that pressure, unable to do so, and they get the win. West Bloomfield survived, and now they're showing what they're really made of here today.
This will be the 6th punt of the day for Davison. Samaj Morgan is back deep to receive it. He won't get the opportunity. That one rolls out of bounds right around the 36 of Davison. Well, we have talked a lot about Donovan Edwards, and we should, because he's arguably the best player in the state, one of them, right? Well, Ron Bellamy's defense has been stifling today. Keep this in mind. Coming into the game today, they are giving up just about 6 points per game, the fewest for West Bloomfield's football program since 1977, when they allowed just 5.5 points per game. The defense is quick, it's physical, and it is athletic. He runs a version of Don Brown's defense when he was at Michigan, a heavy blitz package and a lot of man-to-man. Edwards, right side, has another one in him maybe, as he shakes his way and goes out of bounds willingly at the 25.
Well, you know, you say he likes to run that blitzing type of defense. When you got corners like he gets here at West Bloomfield, and you got kids like that that can cover, you can do anything you want defensively. You can, you know, rush 7, rush 6, rush 5, because you can lock people down behind it.
Riley Henderson is the injured Davison Cardinal. Remember, they've already lost their most outstanding defensive lineman in Harrison Unger early in this game.
Shep, I'm going to love here too. Former Detroit Lion, another Detroit Lion that's on this West Bloomfield team. The left, or the right guard rather, Caden Halliburton. Sheldon Halliburton, I think he played a year or 2 with Detroit. He was a free agent that came into Detroit. And he used to play also back in the day with the alumni basketball team. Sheldon, great guy. If his son grows up to be as tall as him, because Sheldon's got to be about 6'6", 6'7". Caden Halliburton, look at his numbers here. 6'1", 325 senior. And he didn't get Dad's height. He got Dad's weight, though.
He's one of the anchors on that offensive line that has done a great job today. Amir Herring, Ryan Ross, you mentioned Halliburton, Dolan Henry, Terrell Thurman, athletic and physical up front. First and 10 for West Bloomfield. Driving yet again with a 31-point cushion. Edwards. Nothing. And a little extracurricular too. The temper's starting to flare for Davis, and Kobe Sellers with a shove or two. Elam in motion. He gets the handoff. And a good block ahead. That frees up Elam to scoot inside the 15. Boy, nice block by Donovan Edwards, huh? Peyton Pizzala tripped him up, but Edwards out there leading the way, and it allowed Elam to pick up 15.
And this is what college coaches love to see. They know he can run. They know he has great talent. But he gets one block, and he tries to get the second block, and he realizes that, yeah, if he turns it up through, that's what you like. And now we're just seeing a lot of speed and a lot of burgundy jerseys just not being in position.
Yeah, flag on the play, though. Elam took it into the end zone, but that might be coming back.
Yeah, legal shift. Two probably motion at the same time. See a lot of hands on the hip.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Yeah, this looks like a team we saw after that last play. Now, right now, they're kind of walking back with Davison. After that last play, I saw 4 or 5 guys, hands on the hips, and that's a sure sign that you're getting fatigued. And this second half, this defense of Davison's been on the field a lot. They're not used to that. They're used to having their way offensively, controlling the ball and keeping that defense fresh.
Short with a give. Edwards hopped through a tackle, finds the end zone again. 16 yards for his 3rd touchdown of the day.
Well, it might be time to put the thoroughbred back into the barn. He's right now, he's playing at a whole different speed than the rest of the people on the field are. And we're going to get a look here. And this is just, once again, we talked about his lateral movement is the most impressive thing. He goes up, he gets through. Then look at how quickly he goes side to side. He just has that nice, you see burst going ahead, but he has burst from his right to his left and his left to his right. He's fun to watch. He's very, very talented.
We need to remind folks, this is against a really strong Davison defense. He's putting up numbers this year against some really good football teams. And none better than this Davison defense he's faced today. These are some serious numbers. And now we are in a running clock situation that no one would have predicted before this one kicked off.
You know what? And we can say all we want about Harry Hunger getting hurt, and it makes a difference. I don't think it makes a 38-0 difference. Look at him. Just comes through the hole. Good job. Gets a nice block by Ryan Ross, number 53. Let's get a look here. Let's take a look once again. You're going to see a pancake block right in here. Just a really nice job.
Michigan product for Michigan people. Start your custom apparel order today.
30 just gets rolled. That's tough. And you got your defensive front for Davison. And you're playing now. You're Frank McLean. You're a senior. You're getting in this game. You haven't played much all year. And you go against about a 330-pound guard, and you weigh about $185. That's an imbalance. That's a tough deal. But that man right there, he's a tough deal as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if his day was done. And you wouldn't blame Ron Bellamy one bit either. Into the end zone.
Kickoff goes in the end zone for a touchback.
This is how good he's been today. 257 yards. The yards per carry is crazy, isn't it?
That, you know, I as a receiver at Grand Valley, I average 18.1 for a career per reception, not per run. And that was pretty good. Well, you look at that, 18.4 per carry. You know, we talked after the first half stats, and I said about, oh, well, you take that one play out of the equation. That one play has now become about 4 or 5 big chunk plays.
West Bloomfield has averaged 12 yards per play. You're going to get a lot of touchdowns, a lot of scoring, if that's what you're going to do on offense.
Timeout, Davison.
And a timeout for Davison with 1:39 left in the third. Menards brings you our big money moments, and it has to be focused on Donovan Edwards, Bruce.
Well, yeah, it's just which play do you take? There's the first one, the 78-yarder, where he just shows people that I'm the fastest person inside a Ford Field. And then he takes to the edge again. I love how he's carrying that ball. Now, you're going to have to change that because they're not going to allow that in college. Coaches won't be huge. But he kind of gallops, and then he just builds up speed. It just is so smooth when he gets going. And this one I really like. That east-west, that lateral movement he has, to plant the foot and go, he's special. You know, I've done this for a lot of years, and I had a good friend of mine, Doug Babcock, was saying this. He said, you know, Rob, who's the best running back you've ever seen? I said, I don't know. Tyrone Wheatley was pretty good. I throw this guy in the same category as Tyrone Wheatley, that you look at Donovan Edwards, he is that special. I'm like, oh, come on now, come on. Well, this is the first time I've seen him live, and he is impressive.
I'm ready. You ready to have your mind blown?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Matt. West Bloomfield has run 27 plays. They've had the football for 10 minutes and 19 seconds today, and they've got 38 points.
That's a lot like the game we had last. I mean, one time, 5.5 minutes, 5:50, North Louisville had 35 points in 5 minutes and 50 seconds of ball control.
What do you always say? Dion Brown getting pressure. Oh, and he's crushed at the 9-yard line. Just pounded by Kyle Johnson.
Well, I'm going to tell you, hey, look at Donovan Edwards. I'm going to tell you what's really impressive about this play when you see this hit is that number 1 pops right up.
Gets up, right.
A lot of kids in this situation where they know you're beaten right now. It'd be easy to say, I'm hurt, stay on the ground. But this is a competitive instinct and nature of Dion Brown. This is what Jake Weingarts talks about a lot. He is so highly competitive. And this isn't even a fair situation because the defense right now, West Bloomfield's just teeing off.
Yeah.
They know they have a wounded animal in the Davison offense, and they're just feasting.
Flags on the play. As Warren gets past the 15 to the 16-yard line with under a minute to go here in the third.
Penalty marker on the field.
It makes you wonder, and this is why you can't do comparative scores. You just can't. I talked to Ronnie Bellamy about that. Clarkston beat West Bloomfield early this year, correct?
They did, yeah.
They beat them. Graham Blank beats Clarkston.
A legal formation, 5 in the backfield. Half the distance, still second down.
Right? Early on, Graham Blank knocked Clarkston out of the playoffs. Davison pounded pounded Graham Blank twice.
Yeah.
So you do the whole tracing back thing. You can't do that. You have to look about matchups. How do you match up against certain teams? And obviously, this is a bad matchup for Davison when you look at the overall team speed, the physicality, and the ability to lock down your receivers.
You see the reasons that you would stop the clock on a running clock. Very few chances for the team trailing to do just that. And Warren goes backwards to the 1-yard line. More pressure. Jaden Green has had himself a fine game both on the offensive and defensive line. Third down and 28 for Davison. That's what they'll face when we start the fourth.
The end of the third quarter.
A dominating performance by West Bloomfield. With their ground attack led by one of the best in the state and by their defense. Pitching a shutout and scoring a touchdown as well. It's 38-0 as we head for home at Ford Field after this. The MHSAA Football State Championships on Fox Sports Detroit are brought to you by the Henry Ford Health System. All for you. And by Farm Bureau Insurance, the presenting sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award. With Rob Rubick, Brooke Fletcher, our entire Fox Sports Detroit family, I'm Matt Shepard. Glad you're with us from Ford Field, the site every year of the state championship games. Division I, Davison, the defending champion, and West Bloomfield. It has been all West Bloomfield. Donovan Edwards has dominated with about 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, and their defense has been incredibly stout. Dion Brown from his own end zone, and it's incomplete, and a flag on the play.
Brown's pass incomplete.
This is the big break for Davison because they've struggled in the punting game the entire day, and Hopkins is going to have to be backed up to the back of their own end zone. Looks like they're going to get a pass interference call. I think Jake Weingars is working the side judge pretty hard on that one. Let's see.
Pass interference on the defense, number 29. 15 yards. That's still third down.
Let's take a look at it. We get the replay here and take a look.
That's a really tough call.
That's a tough call, yeah. That's pretty good coverage here.
Quinn Davis on the coverage. They said 29. That would be Travis Barnes, but it's Quinn Davis who had the coverage, and it would look like good coverage.
Yeah, and don't hold me to this, but I don't think the old face guarding rule applies at any level any longer. As long as you don't touch a receiver, you can wave your hands in front of their face. It used to be you couldn't impede their vision. Well, now I think so. Just, it's a tough call. It's a bang-bang play for the official.
3rd and 13. Brown heaves it downfield and incomplete. Intended for Jalen Murray Flowers. And the West Bloomfield defense continues to flex its muscle. It's been impressive, Rubes.
Oh, it has. They've been swarming. They've been physical. They move bodies, and their big bodies can move. So a really nice job. Not much to go anywhere. And it's just when you're limited to start in the passing game because you're playing a quarterback who has not been there, it enables them to tee off up front. We see in the run game as well in the pass rush, as you see here. Just a tough task for the offense of Davison.
Yeah, it was a good shot of Niles King. He ripped it out of the arms of Jalen Flowers and took it into the end zone for 6. Speaking of 6, Donovan Edwards, who wears number 6 for West Bloomfield, another penalty.
Delay a game on the kicking team, number 13. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Against Davison, Donovan Edwards, who wears number 6 for West Bloomfield, has been everything we expected and more. He is a guy who will be and has been named part of the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Dream Team selection. We'll show you some other names associated with that as Edwards awaits this punt. Calls for a fair catch. Surprised we didn't see a flag there.
Unless they were getting blocked into Donovan Edwards. That looked like that should have been a catcher interference call.
Edwards doesn't care. He does care about this, though, being part of the dream team. The irony here, of course, Brendan Sullivan, who's now at Northwestern, was the quarterback at Davison, and he's on it as well. Brady Rose, we saw win a state championship for a 2nd straight year from Mona Shores yesterday. We had in our high school game of the week on Fox Sports Detroit, DeJavian Stepney, who's going to Central Michigan from Macomb, Dakota. Really good-looking running back.
Now, Deion Burks, is he the one that left early for Purdue?
Yes. Yeah.
He's a player.
He's a dynamite player. Jace Williams, you'll see him in the next game.
Next game.
Jace Williams for Grand Rapids Catholic Central. He's going to go to Miami, Ohio. He could have gone to a lot of different schools, but wanted to wait and really tour the school, take his time, patiently wait. He had big-time schools from all over the country wanting his talents, and
Chuck Martin got it.
Yeah, and Chuck Martin got it.
Wow.
You know?
That's his Grand Rapids ties, being the former Grand Valley head coach.
Yeah, he's a really good player. I mean, you're talking Cincinnati, Michigan State, they were all in on him.
5 yards, still 1st down.
The quarterback, too, what's his, Silvari? For Grand Rapids?
Silvari, yeah.
Yeah, Silvari. He's a player, too.
Really good-looking player.
Yeah, they remind me of a little bit better version of Montague where they're balanced and they can throw it, they can run it.
Grand Rapids Catholic Central, you're saying?
Yes, very much so like Montague. Very talented at the skill positions.
1st and 15 for West Bloomfield. Short. Barrels his way into Davison territory. Rob Rubick referring to Montague. We saw them win a state championship yesterday. No one from that team on this list, but we do see Giovanni El-Hadi. He's going to Michigan from Stevenson. Rocco Spindler and Garrett Dellinger. Boy, what a tandem.
That's just not right. You got 2 Power 5, and they got another LSU. Dellinger's younger brother has been offered already by LSU. So you got 3
a lot of schools.
Power 5 linemen.
Yeah. Spindler going to Notre Dame. Dellinger going to LSU. And then you saw Damon Payne's name on that list. He's going to Alabama.
Nice job by Clark Hamilton coming in from his middle linebacker position. Young man just moved up from Florida before his senior season and has really helped out this Davison defense throughout the course of the year.
4-yard loss to to the 46.
Again, a running clock because the difference is 35 points or greater. On the jet sweep. Nice move to get close to the 40-yard line by DJ Pryor.
DJ Pryor gets into.
Here's the linebackers and the defensive ends on that dream team throughout the state of Michigan.
First down, West Bloomfield.
We've had a chance to watch this young man from Traverse City Central. He's quite a football player now. He's one of those ones, like we saw in Division 7 today with Cam Moore. He plays middle linebacker and quarterback.
I want you to use your red pen to put an arrow on Will Johnson, if you could, because Will Johnson is an outstanding player from Grosse Pointe South. He's one of the best corners in the country as a junior. Yeah, he is outstanding. And that Quillen Housey from Chippewa Valley plays for Scott Merchant there. He's a dynamic player.
Yeah, there's a lot of Macomb, the Mac Red players on that list.
Great league. Short will keep it himself. Take a beating all the way down to the 20-yard line. Hit there by Luke Milenich.
Is taken down by Milenich at the 20. First down, Lakers.
The beauty of that, and look, we've seen it increase year after year. We're seeing more and more Michigan high school football players take their talents to colleges and high-level colleges, too. It's always fun to follow the Michiganders at the next level, no matter where they play.
Yeah, Michigan's never been known as maybe a top 10, right on the edge of a top 10 state in this country for football, but it's quality high school football. I enjoy it, and a lot of good players have come out. Michigan was more known for their high school basketball back when Flint was thriving and Saginaw was thriving and Detroit was. I mean, they were telling me, some of the guys that have been in the Flint area, there were teams that you could go watch at Flint, or like Detroit Central or Flint Central, where there'd be 5 guys that were all Power 5, and they'd have a 6th guy off the bench who was also like a Power 5, big-time recruit.
Right. Eric Turner's a really good example of that. Outstanding point guard at Michigan. And same thing, of course, in Detroit. That's how it was. We'll have the high school state championships here on Fox Sports Detroit for boys and girls in basketball. Once that season gets rolling a little bit. Good interview at halftime with Mark Ewell in the last game.
Legal procedure on the offense, number 63. 5 yards, still second down.
And speaking of Mark Ewell, I had a chance to visit with him a little bit while your game was taking place between New Lothrop and Traverse City St. Francis, and how good he and his staff feel about getting these games in and letting these kids play. Rick Nance, the freshman quarterback for West Bloomfield, in, and a handoff to Marcus Carter. Tough sledding to the 20.
Carter on the carry.
And Mark Ewell has made sure that these kids have done it properly, safely, responsibly. And the payoff is here at Ford Field, and what a memory for all of them and for us.
Yeah, we'll try to keep track here because we're getting some new numbers into the game. Get some mentions. You know, Davison's taking it on the chin here tonight, but still a great accomplishment to get to this point. There's a lot of teams wish they had the ability to get to a championship game.
Nance handles the high snap and then pays the price at about the 28-yard line. Well, stay with us after this one. Our coverage of the MHSAA Football Finals continues. You won't want to miss what's next. The Division 5 title game. High-flying defending champions of Grand Rapids Catholic Central battling upset-minded Frankenmuth. First time ever they've reached Ford Field. Find out who will reign supreme in Division 5. That's next on Fox Sports Detroit.
And for those people who may not know where Frankenmuth is, have you ever been to Zenders or the Bavarian Village or any of those places where you go to Santa's Land up there? That's where Frankenmuth. That is Frankenmuth.
Little Bavaria, right?
Little Bavaria.
Jake Ward on for a field goal. This one from 45 yards away. And he nailed it. His second field goal today. One from 39, one from 45. And Jake Ward pads the West Bloomfield lead. It's now a 41-0 advantage. Make it 3 field goals. Edwards with 3 touchdowns. Ward with 3 field goals. It's a runaway for the Lakers.
us, as far as football goes, this is the ultimate goal, for a state championship. And we're here. We've been here before as a program, and we didn't do enough to accomplish our goal. But we're fortunate to be back here and complete the mission. And that's something that we've been talking about the entire season, and we really emphasized it. And, man, it'd be a special moment if we could win a state championship for our community, our school, and, for us, our football program.
Living and learning, right? You learn from past mistakes. Ron Bellamy has done that with his team, and what a showing they've had here today. It has been a dominating performance for West Bloomfield.
Yeah, it's good to get to see Ronnie in person here, because I talked about playing on our alumni fundraising basketball team this winter. I said, we got to get you going. He said, yeah. I said, you in good shape? He goes, yeah. He looks okay.
Not quite as enthusiastic as the other.
I wrote Eddie Murray out there. Everything he's missing is the wheelchair.
Oh, boy. From the 5-yard line, Jalen Flowers. All the way up to the 22 or so.
21, Jalen Flowers with the kick.
It was interesting when you and I were talking with Ron Bellamy about some keys today. He says, look, here's one of the things I've really learned. Defense travels, right?
Absolutely.
And his defense has pitched the shutout here today.
Yeah, they really, in the first half, were only threatened a little bit. Davison was able to put a few drives together. But then once West Bloomfield figured it out and really started loading the box and walking their safeties down and forcing Deanne Brown in this passing attack to try to do something, it was pretty much a done deal after that.
First and 10 at the 23.
Running clock because of the difference on the scoreboard. If it's 35 or greater at the high school level, they keep it running, except for a few possibilities like coaching timeouts, injuries. 2 more games left. After this one, Frankenmuth and Grand Rapids Catholic Central we talked about. Next on Fox Sports Detroit. And then on Fox Sports Detroit Plus, River Rouge and DeWitt. What do you think of that, Rubes?
I think it's a great game. I had a chance with Devin Gardner on the Friday Night Hype Show. We talked about it. Devin was excited. I told him I'm jealous. That should be a great game. And I think playing Muskegon last week is going to really help prepare DeWitt for what they're going to see from River Rouge. You're going to see a lot of speed, a lot of talent, quality quarterback. So a little bit envious. Devin's going to, I'm not sure, Devin, you're just calling the next one, right?
Yeah, I'll be calling the next one.
But I think Devin's calling the next 2.
Yeah. Devin being the analyst chair for the next 2. Evan Stockton's got that late kick between River Rouge and DeWitt. So hopefully you could stick around for a full day of high school football action. Started this morning with New Lothrop winning its 2nd title in 3 years and 3rd overall, beating Traverse City St. Francis. Brown will heave it downfield, and it's incomplete. Now intended for Jalen Flowers.
Just so you know, that's not a start. That's Caden Tucker. He just came in off the bench. He's a 2nd stringer who just made an unbelievable play on the ball. Recovering speed, timed it perfectly, ripped through the receiver as the ball arrived. Look at this. You're going to get a look here. Look at covering, rip and strip and hold the arm.
That's
Matt,
textbook.
I'm telling you, you can't draw it up any better than that. That's beautiful. But he can't start here.
Thank you.
So that's just how deep and talented this defense is.
4th down and 5.
4th and 5 as we approach the minute mark left in the Division I state championship game. Brown will keep it and throw it. He's got his man Flowers for a 1st down and more. Jukes his way into West Bloomfield territory, and then he's wrapped up at the 46-yard line.
What a nice hustle play by Brandon Davis Swain, the senior, 6'3", 215 pounds. He chased that down from behind him. We have an injured Laker down on the field. It looks like it's Xander Davis, the DT, the freshman.
Rubes, let's take a moment to welcome in our audience watching today on Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Go, as well as CW46 in the Flint area. All of us live for the Division I state championship game at Ford Field. 49 seconds left before West Bloomfield is crowned a football champ. We'll be back after this.
Back at Ford Field, it's been all West Bloomfield Lakers with a 41-0 lead over the Davison Cardinals. And we're going to take a look at in the third quarter, Shep. This is one of the big plays. It was a 17-0 game that really turned the tide, and it's been all downhill for the Cardinals since. And this is just an unbelievably heads-up play by Niles King, ripping and stripping the ball and taking it to the house. And that's a Grand Valley commit. So my Lakers will appreciate getting number 23 to help them when they take on the Bulldogs of Ferris State.
Yeah, the defense has been outstanding so far. Reason to dance for Jordan Hoskins.
Yeah, this is why I'm so glad we didn't win in high school, because I have no rhythm. I would, you know how bad I would look down there trying to dance?
I think we'd take that camera off you as quickly as possible.
I'd rather been ice fishing.
1st and 10. Carter Kreiderman, the lone tailback. Off play action, Dion Brown. Deep ball to Warren, incomplete, flag on the play. And that's going to be pass interference on Caden Tucker.
We gave Caden Tucker some love in that time. That's a little touchy, too. That's pretty good coverage. I like what I see from the junior, the 6'1", 160-pound junior corner.
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage. First down.
You know, what hurt him is that it was a poor throw. It was underthrown, Shep. And by being underthrown, the receiver slows down, and then Jaden Tucker kind of runs right into him. There's a look at the Eagles from Frankenmuth getting ready to come out. They spread some Christmas cheer. They're just a little bit late.
1st and 10. Brown wants to throw again. And that's too high and incomplete. Should be the final play as Grand Rapids Catholic Central looks on and ready to watch West Bloomfield celebrate. Ron Bellamy said, we have to be who we are. Here's who they are now. They are state champions in Division I.
The MHSAA is proud to use products from Wilson's.
Oh, Davison called a time. Did they really? They called a timeout?
That's what Wilson has delivered for over 100 years.
Interesting. There's Ronnie Bellamy celebrate with his team. Props to him. This is first one, right, for Ron?
It is.
First championship. His assistants on the sidelines. You know, I don't know how long he'll be at West Bloomfield. I've heard there's been rumors that Ann Arbor's been calling a little bit, talking to him. You know,
to get him up as a position coach?
Get him up as a position coach. He's networked in the Detroit area, in the Metro Detroit area for the recruiting. You try to get the leg up. You're always trying to get the leg up on your competition. And for Michigan, a lot of that recruiting is Michigan State. So, good way for Donovan Edwards to end his high school football career with the championship.
What a feeling, huh? Brown wants to avoid the shutout. Instead, it falls incomplete. And West Bloomfield can now celebrate for good reason. What a day. And what a championship game.
That's the end of the game. Our final score, the Lakers of West Bloomfield 41. The Davison Cardinals 0.
We hope Ron Bellamy gets a chance to really take this in and enjoy it, because he deserves it. His team, for the first time in the history of their football program, are the best in the state in Division I. We wrap things up from Ford Field after this. Last year was Davison winning their first ever title. This year, West Bloomfield earns that crown, the first in school history. They celebrate on Ford Field's turf after a convincing blowout win, 41-0 over the Davison Cardinals. And earlier, Ron Bellamy, what a classy move. He and Jake Weingartz get together, and Ron Bellamy wanted to shake the hand of Harrison Unger, who was lost early in this game.
I told you, Ron Bellamy's a good man. You know, that's class move right there all the way. Win like a champ, lose like a champ, and Ronnie experienced the latter, and this year he gets to experience winning like a champ.
Yeah, they lost in 2017 in a one-point decision. There was no doubt who the best team in the state was on this Saturday. It was the West Bloomfield Lakers. Our final score, West Bloomfield 41, Davison nothing. We're back on Fox Sports Detroit with our coverage of the Division V State Championship game between Frankenmuth and Grand Rapids Catholic Central. For Brooke Fletcher, my partner Rob Rubick, and our entire Fox Sports Detroit family, I'm Matt Shepard saying thanks for watching the MHSAA Football State Finals on Fox Sports Detroit. Have a great afternoon, everybody.